Yeah, what's up, fight fans? Mark and Matt Nolan. First toe-to-toe fight show podcast.
Toe-to-toe fight show.
Toe-to-toe fight show with Mark and Matt Nolan. We are professionals.
Yeah.
Professional podcasters.
Yep.
As of 2/21.
Eastern Standard Time.
Yes. So toe-to-toe fight show. This is going to be our podcast in which we discuss all things boxing and boxing adjacent. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fights in general, whatever.
Yeah.
Any sort of fight.
Any sort of fight. The fight never ends at the bell. Mark and I, fresh off our one vacation of the year.
Yep.
And even then, our Disney trip. Is that right?
Yeah.
And even on vacation.
Still working.
Still talking shit online. So still putting fights together. Still wheeling, dealing, headline making.
Yeah, so I figure, most people who are watching are vaguely familiar with what we do. So heavily involved in amateur boxing in Boston. Involved at the pro level as well. Put together shows.
Yep.
Wheeling and dealing. Went to see Mickey Mouse with the fam, and we're like, the only fucking thing we're going to do is, like, put down your phone. Like, let's not do work.
Nothing.
And then Matt gets the text, and he's like, yep, now you did it.
You fucking kicked the hornet's nest, dude.
So
I get the text. So I'm setting up this fight card, this amateur fight card, and it's like, it's our annual fight card. It's in Waltham. It's a Watch City Invitational. Waltham's known for making watches, right? So that's very clever.
Yep.
The Watch City Invitational. Waltham's called the Watch City. So I get the text from one of the coaches that's like, hey, I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to, but you know the fuck you are. But so I get a text and it's like, hey, dude, this boxer's going to take a fight on a different show 2 days before. To which I was basically like, fuck you, right? That's the long story short, right? And then said coach was like, well, why don't you reach out to the other promoter? We typically don't pull out of fights and stuff like that. And why would I reach out to the other fucking promoter? Why would I? What do I thank him for fucking pulling someone off my card? So I posted a video on Main Street USA and was like, oh, just so you know, these people are fucking bums. This gym's bum ass gym, and I got some blowback from it. But really, like the long and short of it is being a promoter, being a matchmaker at the amateur level, and now the professional level. It's hard. There's no sense of accountability there that we really need to work on.
We put them on blast. That's literally all you can do.
So now, God forbid, now I got a fucking podcast. You know what I mean? Where we talk all things fights, amateur and professional. This podcast, who's our guest today? Who's our inaugural
So
guest?
we got George Foreman III coming up. It'll be an interesting one because he's like a super nice guy. Like, so, you know what I mean? So like you have to kind of play it straight with him.
You can't be like, tell me everything, motherfucker.
Yeah.
George
He's
Foreman,
like a chill, like even-keeled dude.
Yeah, interesting cat. He started out his career in Texas, founded a gym in Boston. He's now West Coast based, toying with the idea of making a comeback, which should be interesting. So as far as the show's concerned, we're going to be talking about all things gripes on Main Street USA in the amateur level, and we'll be interviewing guests on the fight scene, anywhere from George Foreman to what?
George Foreman. I mean,
Yeah,
we got one show lined up so
that's
far.
right.
It's not like a 10 show deal. We have George Foreman.
It's not a 10-show deal?
Nope.
I think it is. I like to think so. We're pretty big because we're professional podcasters now.
I feel like I've got the podcast lean already.
I have more like the Ellen lean. I feel like where I'm like, hey, but Ellen's canceled.
No, she's like back. So she's doing stand-up now.
Fuck, we're not doing any
prolific boxer.
We're not.
Ellen
Ellen
DeGeneres.
Yeah,
huge.
we're not spending any time talking about Ellen. But we talked about podcasts for a while.
Yeah,
we've been on podcasts.
Yeah,
good podcast.
So great podcast, and then like there's one or two where they give you like the script and you just read and it's fucking weird.
Horrible. That's the worst when they hand you something to read, and it's like, oh, cool. This is completely because we suck at acting. We suck at a lot of things, but acting especially, I can't like fucking riff off a script. You and I feel like jive together pretty well.
Yeah.
So when the opportunity arose to have our actual podcast in like an actual studio with actual fucking guests, we jumped at the chance.
Well, so talking about the physical space because it's so funny. It's a beautiful space, but they literally have a red corner and a blue corner.
Yes.
Red corner. If you guys don't know, if you ever watch like a local show, and you don't know any of the people fighting, the red corner is going to win. So just so you know, so that they put the A side in the red corner. So I
as a boxing promoter in Boston, now putting on shows, Mark's wrong.
Every single fucking red corner is
So,
going to win pretty much every single time. But yeah, I just do like that, we have equal footing. You immediately sit in the red corner.
No, I wore red shit though.
Wouldn't matter.
But I'm taking point anyways. In our personal relationship,
Yeah.
right? I'm the personality, you're the pragmatics. Is that fair?
That's fucking, for you to say that, it's insulting.
No, I'm just being self-aware.
You're like, I'm fucking charming, and you're the guy who
You're
does like
analytical.
Numbers.
So
you're Charlie Babbitt. I'm fucking Rain Man.
Yes.
That's again. I feel like
that's an extreme example.
You're talking about somebody who's incredibly charming and incredibly analytical.
Billy Babbitt. Isn't that the dude from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Isn't that?
I think it's Bibbit.
Who cares?
Babbitt? I don't know.
You get the idea. So in terms of segments, we're going to go through a couple different segments throughout the show. We're going to talk about different things happening in the fight world.
Yeah, we'll talk local. We'll talk global.
Yeah. We'll keep it topical. And as far as big boxing news right now and stories, you have to address Devin Haney and more particularly Ryan Garcia.
So leading up to the the Haney fight, and and owning a boxing club, you get to talk to people that are consistently watching boxing.
Yes.
And you get people that...
And you were one of those people.
Yeah.
You say that...
What I'm saying is,
so
you're talking to everybody, you get, I'd say 75% of the gym is like, it's an act, dude. He's hyping the fight. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's Ryan fucking Garcia. The fight's going to sell 1 billion tickets anyway.
Let's talk a little bit about what you're alluding to. Leading up to the fight.
Yeah. Ryan Garcia's talking about the Illuminati starting earthquakes and like a pedophile ring and shit.
Yeah.
And most people that I talked to thought it was an act. And I'm like, no, he's talking like a dust head. Like he's out of his mind.
Okay. So I think in looking at that, though, if you look at the demographic at our gym, right, that you talk to, who are you talking to that are like, it's an act?
Douchebags.
Yes. Not, by the way, term of endearment.
No, I love one of my favorite people.
But they're all like these 19, 20-year-old TikTok generation kids.
On God bet. For real. They're
Dead
like,
ass.
it's a fucking, you're playing into his game.
Can I tell you, though?
They might have been right.
Because, all right, homeboy comes in, misses weight by 3 pounds.
Yep.
Right? And now there's the picture after the fact with I'm sorry, not Roy. My man Floyd holding up 3 fingers, right? Saying that, and he was like, Floyd told me he missed weight by 3 pounds, right? The fact that he missed weight by exactly 3, that doesn't pass the smell test to me. He's on the scale, smashing a beer, right?
But 1.5 mil out the door for missing weight, 500,000 a pound.
To Haney's dad. That's who the bet was against. Okay, yeah, that's right.
We'll keep going.
Yeah, okay, so and he paid it, right? So he elects to miss weight or he misses weight, what have you. And he pays the 1.5 million. He's on the scale, crushing what appears to be a beer, right? To which harkens back to one of my favorite boxers, Mayorga. Listen,
yeah.
So
ripping butts and fucking eating
with Garcia.
Baby Ruths.
With Garcia, right? After the fact, he said it was like sparkling water and apple juice. To which I say, if that's true,
why'd you tell anybody?
You're a huge pussy, dude.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna do it, crush the fucking beer, dude. Right? Drink the beer, miss the weight, flip him off. Because Mayorga was definitely ripping butts and doing his thing.
It was like a Baby Ruth. It was like the word. No, what's is that a Payday? What's the one with the chocolate on the outside? It was like the world's shittiest candy bar.
Baby
so
Ruth
something.
has chocolate. Payday does not.
All right.
Yeah.
Both.
That's what all our listeners are like. I hope these fucking guys talk at great detail
That's why you're
about
in the red chair.
The amount of chocolate on the outside. But yes, so when Mayorga's knocking out, Vernon Forrest and shit, he's ripping butts. If Garcia's drinking apple juice, I think that's a bitch move. But now we get to the fight. Devin Haney, who is really a traditional, great, polished boxer, right? Wildly good fundamentals and extremely non-entertaining as far as personality is concerned. I mean, if he had a podcast, holy shitballs, it's like taking a tranquilizer dart to the throat. He wears like weird skeleton vest shit.
Dude, we're going to talk about his outfit and you're not going to talk about his shoes?
Oh, well, we'll get there. Well, yeah, 100%. Oh, you want to talk about shoes? Talk about shoes.
He has fucking, like, grandma fucking mitten shoes. Somebody, his dad's hitting him up. He's like, listen, auntie needs you to wear the fucking shoes. And he's like, I'm not wearing. Like, look, Garcia's coming in 3 pounds overweight. Nobody's going to even see him. Just put him on for fucking Auntie. He's like, this one fight, Dad, that's it. Like, where do you even buy that shit?
Those are custom. Those are custom.
Auntie putting him on his feet.
No
There's no
way.
fucking,
That's
fucking
bad.
like, ooh.
But the fight comes, and Garcia, right, who's a big puncher. He is the bigger man night of. They said he's something like 16 pounds heavier or something like, or he put on 16 pounds, what have you. And he just absolutely wrecks Haney. Haney comes in looking intimidated, gets caught multiple times. There's a fantastic interaction between Ryan Garcia's father and Eddie Hearn. Did you catch that one?
Yeah, he's just like...
So Eddie Hearn, after the fact, is like, Rob in the production room over here, our producer, Rob Malouf, if you are able to at all pull up at some point the interaction between Eddie Hearn and Devin Haney's father.
No, Garcia's
sorry, Garcia's father. It's absolutely...
He just grabs his dick a bunch of
Well,
times.
it's
like,
even better.
You,
no,
bitch.
but
like,
before that, what's best about it is Eddie Hearn being like such a Brit was like, you know, kudos to that man, hats off to him, you know, fair play, right? And as he's doing, he's like, "Fuck you, bitch," and just grabs his like crotch.
But then he comes over like 2 seconds later, shakes his hand. Like
the one
happened.
thing though that
It's
people
fucking
don't talk about is he kind of punches him in the stomach a little bit, and Eddie kind of takes it, but it's like you get, it's like there's a little bit of back and forth there where I'm like, I don't know that he loved that little gut punch there. So in breaking it down, right now that the dust is settled, right, Ryan Garcia, madman. Or absolutely brilliant? Or is there a gray area?
No, he's fucking mental, dude.
You think so?
Yeah, there's no, like, everything.
Yeah.
Has he walked back any of it yet? Or you think the charade works for like 12 fights in a row? Like, it doesn't.
Does it have to work for 12 fights in a row?
If he's gonna keep, if the reason he did
Who's he fooling? The people that he needs to fool, will it work for them?
It worked in this fight. Haney looked past him. There's no way around it. Haney 100% looked past him. Not only was Garcia the better fighter on that night and had his number.
Yeah.
There's no way he was looking at that like a fight that was going to last more than a couple rounds. He's like, Ryan's not training. He's not taking this fight.
He did keep saying over and over again that he's not training. That could be self-fulfilling. We always tell our guys, even at the amateur level.
Why are you looking past these guys?
It's
like
crazy, you know? And at that level, you know...
his look of disbelief every time he got dropped of like, oh, I can't believe this is happening.
It was a matter of being hurt and shook, but it was also, you're totally right, where he's crunching numbers in his head.
You're like, fuck, I look past this kid.
Are you shitting me right now?
This is how I go down?
This is the kid?
These are the shoes I'm going to wear?
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's thinking.
Fuck. He got dropped like 5 times, too.
Yeah.
I know it's like...
Oh, here it is. Let's see.
I'm fucking very proud. And I can't stand the people that went against him, but you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad you fucking lost. I'm glad you fucking lost a lot of money. I'm so glad. You gotta listen to me. I would tell people. I would text you. If my son hits that guy solid, he's either gonna wobble or get dropped.
So like...
Did I lie?
You didn't. Don't
go. So listen. So let's talk about this. All right.
Okay.
So all right. So every douchebag at the gym was like, "Oh yeah, it's a ploy. You don't even understand, dude." So is Garcia's dad in on it? Because this is the way
Garcia's dad is an absolute fucking maniac.
But they talk the exact same way. That's the same fucking person, just fucking 30 years older. Tell me that's not the same guy.
There's some parallels.
What you don't understand is that there's a pedophile ring in Hollywood that touched this one right here.
Here we go. Hats off to you. Hats off to you. Respect. Ready?
Unbelievable. I mean, listen, this sport never ceases to amaze me.
There
In
we
the
go.
first round, Devin got. It was amazing. I thought, well done.
Ready?
Well done.
Well done.
You're a piece of shit. Fuck you.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Hey, my son, you piece of shit. What are you talking about? You might, fuck you. You know you're a piece of shit.
It's gonna be dick
That's
grab.
what you get.
Ready?
Now what are you gonna say? I'm gonna say Luke Campbell and fucking Devin Haney. Fuck you.
Yeah, there it is,
Now
baby.
who you got? Who do you got?
Jerron
You
Ennis.
can't- who?
Jerron Ennis.
Who?
Jerron Ennis.
How about Pitbull?
You know he's good.
As soon as it says Ennis, it gets close. Now watch this punch. Ready? See, that looks a little hot.
It was a good performance.
Sorry.
I know you're emotional.
Now he's
It's
sorry.
sorry.
That's his fault.
I think it's because
I
Eddie.
give
So
you all the respect in the world.
Okay, give Ryan the
I
respect.
just told him.
You did?
Absolutely. This is
I'm
how we work.
sorry.
thanks again. I'm sorry. So I think so. There's
Yes.
there's twofold here. One, again, he's on fucking Mars. But the other
What do you
thing
mean?
is
Which one?
The other thing is Eddie Hearn's not a small fucking dude, and
Yeah.
he stood up. And Ryan's dad might have thought, you know what? Maybe I'll
That
take
guy,
this one to social
Ryan's
media.
dad, strikes me as a guy that is not afraid of any mere mortal. He strikes me as a guy that starts fights outside of 7-Eleven for fun, dude. You know? That was a vulgar.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
so I have a real hard time thinking that Ryan is this fucking mastermind of manipulation.
Kaiser
Like,
Soze.
dude, I'm gonna act fucking crazy.
Twist ending, yeah.
When that's his dad.
All right. I think there might be some gamemanship, but I also feel like there might be some underlying mental health issues.
Yeah, there's some upbringing game. It's like that's his household.
Well,
dude.
I talked to Rob, and Rob had been out to the area where he grew up with, and he's like, basically, it's like there's civilization, there's an end to civilization, and then there's where Garcia grew up. It's like where the hills have eyes, like Cartel Edition.
Victorville.
Was it Victorville?
Victorville.
Victorville, where all life and work like stops. But I mean, that's like, even though like Ryan Garcia by the time he's 19 is like, or even like 17 is like a TikTok personality, and he's like crushing the Cobra speed bag. Those areas do breed and create those environments, rather, even crazy dads, right, do create the best boxers typically, historically,
but not grand illusionist, dude.
Okay.
He's, like
Illuminatiist.
We'll come back. So this podcast could be running for
We have Illuminati on
a
one.
decade.
Oh,
and a
do
half.
you have Illuminati on deck here?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear Ryan's take.
Yo, I feel like FaceTiming people right now. Yo, DM us. We gonna FaceTime. We gonna post it on the gram. Just have a good time. FaceTiming fans. Let's get it.
Sorry, guys, I read that wrong. That's the day. That's the day after.
That's the day after. The day after, like the film.
But my thing, so like
Yes.
I said, like so this podcast is probably gonna be on for another decade and a half that
Easily.
we're running. So I'd like to come back in like 5 years. You think Garcia's gonna get to a podium and be like, hey everyone, I want you to know this
Ryan
was just,
Garcia?
this was just
a
an act.
ruse.
This was
You're not talking to me. He's not like a Ray Leonard. Yeah. So, all right. I mean, look at again. You're probably right, given the fact that he did. He's talking about. It says Ryan Garcia. Wait, just scroll up for 1 second. I just have to read that headline. It says Ryan Garcia stuns Logan Paul with his explanation of Jesus. That seems like another topic that we could probably expand upon for another day. Ryan Garcia and Logan Paul speaking of Jesus. Ryan Garcia strikes me as a guy that has a little Antonio Brown in him, in the sense that what, dude? I'm not saying he'll fart in a masseuse's face.
multiple times.
Yeah.
So my thing is, so
Oh no,
again,
masseuse's hand jobs is the doctor. He kept farting in his face. That was so good.
what stance are you taking, dude? So like, if you're saying
Okay, to be honest, yeah, I was just being. No, I was like we're trying to make some. This is how pods work, Mark. It's conversational. Realistically, I'm probably more team blue corner.
Yeah.
Ryan Garcia probably is unwell, and he probably is crazy. And those tweets, I believe he believes. I believe that he is predicting earthquakes.
Well, so now here's the big twist. What if those like earthquakes happen?
Can I tell you? Part of me was
What
like,
do we do
"Fuck!
now?"
What if Ryan Garcia is right?
Like he's clear. Like he's the guy.
He's
like,
the guy.
Yeah. Like in Book of Revelations, they send Ryan fucking Garcia
Correct.
to talk about
or like the
pedophile
Old
rings.
Testament.
Yeah.
They were like, he fucking came back, and thou's name is Ryan Garcia.
Phenomenal left
He's
hook.
on a white horse, and he is. Mark and I didn't read the good book that thoroughly.
It's an okay book.
It's long. It's very long. But yeah, so Ryan Garcia can be very talented and very crazy at the same time. I do think he's a bitch for if that's whether it's apple cider, apple juice, or even just claiming it is. That's a bitch move. Other than that, I co-sign it. I love it. Crazy person. Segment called. Do you remember the segment's called? Flip my Ferrari. Flip my Ferrari.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a regular. Yeah. And I think, by the way, Ryan Garcia will be probably a regular guest.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have some more material.
He will be
coming up with my
featured
guy.
pretty prominently on Flip My Ferrari. But yes, Ryan Garcia, crazy person, great fighter. Lots of interesting fights on the horizon. I would love to see a Pitbull match. I think it has a lot of parallels with Tank.
Because I know like things are like weird with all like the celebrity stuff, but like sanctioning a fight with Ryan.
Are you talking about Mr. Worldwide? Are you talking about?
I was talking about an actual fucking pit bull.
Oh, the dog.
Yeah, the breed.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
No.
yeah. I don't know what copyright.
I would pay fucking $1 billion to watch everywhere, fucking Pitbull fight Ryan Garcia. And
Dude,
like,
we've had this conversation.
how is he famous?
I'm fine with him being famous. I just don't know what the fuck he does.
He's fucking charming, dude. Touches down
Bullshit.
everywhere.
He doesn't. I don't know if he
Everywhere.
sings. I don't know if he raps. I don't
he's
know
a
if he
presence.
produces. He's not very tall. I don't find him particularly handsome.
He's the great sunglasses and a half smile.
But I feel like I could have smile and buy expensive sunglasses.
Fucking do it then, because Pitbull did.
I'm balding.
Yeah,
I haven't committed.
He went full ball.
He went full bald. Yes. So Ryan Garcia, very much a prominent feature in Flip My Ferrari. He's a crazy person.
Yeah.
He's our crazy person, Mark. Sport's interesting with him.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I mean, I'd rather have him in the sport than not have him in the sport.
I feel like that is you promoting mental illness, and I think that's pretty fucked up.
No,
frankly.
I promote exploiting mental illness as long as
yes,
the
exactly.
fights are fun. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That division as a whole,
Fucking
there's a
get
lot
him
of
in
great
there.
fights. But
Yeah.
honestly, like a Pitbull fight would be very exciting.
Yeah.
Big puncher. Very, again, parallels with Tank. Tank already said, he's like, I beat that dude. I'm fucking cool.
I honestly, I didn't think so. This fight proved to me a lot about Garcia because I didn't buy the hype at all. Like fast, like flashy, huge defensive liabilities, and I thought Tank really kind of. I thought there were levels to the game and he wasn't there, and this
clearly
this
is.
was a legit win, and it wasn't even close.
I think the lines, by the way, were
Oh.
super heavy for Haney.
I was like minus 800 for
Yes,
Haney.
yes. Which really brings us to our next segment, which is about gambling.
Yeah.
Mark.
Huge. So we can I fucking tell our heart to heart about like what
I was literally gonna segue into this.
so yeah, so
Bet the farm.
Yeah, it's called Bet the Farm. So like just one aside. So like before we get to our take on some sports gambling, well, Matt, why don't you kind of
Want me to paint the picture?
Paint the picture of us. We're in Maine for fights.
We're in Portland, Maine.
You take it from there.
Do you want me to tell the whole story?
Yeah, and I'll tell you the car ride home.
All right, great. So, Rob, in the interim, if you could look up Rico DePaulis versus, I think, Igor Pasora, something along those lines, for a recent boxing bout. So, we're in Portland, Maine, and we're there for professional fights. And I can talk candidly, Mark, I assume?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So, we get in the ring, and as soon as we enter the ring for this local club pro show, our boxer, yes, you pause it right there, right at the beginning, right? So we get in the ring, right? And as soon as I get in the ring, we hear three dudes from the balcony say wild stuff to my boxer and I. So Rico,
The way Matt and I talk, and like we have very little filter. What they were saying from the balcony would get us canceled.
yes,
Like, and again, like
I would cancel me. Shit,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say to anybody,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, Rico, what the? Do you know these fucking guys? And he's like, I think one of them's my friend. I'm like, you have the worst friends. And then they started talking. I was like, these guys aren't our friends, right?
Can you actually, Rob? Can you pull up full screen this real quick? It's just so we can show and just you can hit play from here. and We'll kind of walk you through. You can see in this video at the very start. Yeah, hit play
Yep.
from there. You'll see in this video.
Black trunks.
Yeah. So
Ladies and
this is the introduction of Rico's
Igor
opponent.
Passoa.
And then on the left-hand side, you'll see
And his opponent.
Rico and myself.
Directly across the ring, fighting
And you'll
on the
see
left
me
towards
kind
my
of fix
right.
my hat,
Wearing a white
and
trunks
and
with
then you'll see
blue
me
and yellow trim.
talk to the crowd right here. By the way, right here, you motherfucker, I'm gonna, and I was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Yes, so the idea was these
you
gentlemen,
cut it,
you can
Rob,
cut
yeah.
it. So these gentlemen made themselves known, and we're talking absolutely reckless to my boxer and I, saying really horrible, offensive things. Like, I would say hate speech. Is that fair?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, if you can't pick up when I'm laying down. So I made it clear that it's a small venue, and I'll say hello to them immediately after our fight. So after all of our fights, we always take a big picture with all our crew
team,
and our team. And Rico won, so we always try to get people not involved with our team take the picture so everyone feels included. So Rico's like, okay, let's have these two guys take the picture. So these two guys take the picture, and I was like, on the count of three, 1, 2, 3, fuck that guy in the front row, I said. And Rico's like, these two guys were with that guy, right? So I went over to these guys. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And they're like, oh, our friend, he got really drunk. He wanted to just kind of jeer.
Just chirp the A side.
Yeah,
Like,
chirp the
like,
A-sides.
they talk shit about the A side, the guys who were supposed to win.
I'm like, oh, hey, dummies. Like, I'm not LeBron James. Like, I'm a dude, and like, I'm here right now. Like, do not do that stuff. And I also told them, like, by the way, you're lucky it's me, because there's people here that could like kill, like stab you. Like there's maniacs in the crowd, like actual like felons, murderers, problems, right? Long story short.
No, so we start walking down the stairs, and we're trying to get out of this fucking place because we're like, enough's enough. And the two dudes point to their drunk ass fucking idiot friend. They're like, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
So dude fucking stumbles up the stairs, starts talking reckless, grabs Matt's hand, refuses to fucking let go.
And then I hit Mark with the shrug, and the shrug is
the shrug. When Matt hits me, that's the all right. I gotta fucking smoke this guy.
I've
now.
exhausted all the resources, so I security's there. I explained to security a number of times that this guy's overserved. He's a big dude.
I told the friends. I said, look, you've got to get rid of this kid. You don't understand what happens next. You
So
gotta separate him.
I expedite the process, we'll say, and as I leave, right, Mark and I are in the car, right, if that's fair.
Yeah.
And I immediately am like, all right, I broke my hand, right? So I was like, sorry, Mark, I messed up, right? And now you're probably thinking, I thought this segment was about betting. Rob, listeners, we are
circle,
betting
baby.
the farm.
So I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and he fucked, like, you know, he made things, I guess the easiest way to say it is he made things uncomfortable for me that night. And we're driving. I can fucking say anything. Carte blanche to it. And I go, Matt, you got to stop fucking betting. And he goes, what? I go, you're the worst fucking. He'll bet a 4-leg parlay where we won't even sniff a single. I go, you got to stop fucking betting. And he goes, that's it? Like, my hand's fucking broken.
But folks, guess who's on a fight?
He is on a heater
He's on
right
a heater
now.
streak. Absolute heater. So in terms of recent action,
Yeah. So
Tim Tszyu, can I try this dude's name?
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Funfetti?
Yep. That's his
Fondant? The fuck's this guy's name?
No, you say it
Fundora?
first. His name is Sebastian Fundora.
Thank
dude.
you, Sebastian Fundora. So I'm looking at lines, right? And I see the Tszyu line, right? So for those not familiar, Tim Tszyu is a son of Costa Tszyu, whose name, by the way, Costa Tszyu, not an easy name in its own
It's
right.
like Zoo.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
All right. So awesome boxer when Mark and I were growing up.
Phenomenal fucking rat tail. Like the best rat tail
Great
I've ever
rat
seen in my
tail.
life.
Most famous, obviously, for knocking down repeatedly Zab Judah with one punch.
Talking to Jane 80.
So yeah. So his son Tim Tszyu, absolute monster, undefeated, is scheduled to fight Keith Thurman. So Thurman is close in age to us. He's 35 years old. He's 5'7". He's an orthodox boxer, right? 11 days out, the opponent changes. The opponent changes to Sebastian Fundora, who is a legitimate. Here we go. Here, look at these stats. Okay, Fundora is so again. Thurman, 35 years old, 5'7", orthodox fighter on the absolute tail end of his career. All right, Fundora is 26 years old. He is 6'6" with an 80-inch wingspan. Okay, and he's a southpaw.
Not only that, so he was the guy. He was coming up the ranks.
Yeah.
And he was beating the fucking bag out of somebody, and he got caught. And it was like he was like the laughing stock for like a day and a half.
Sure.
But he's walking into this fight, 21-1, a very legit opponent.
He's ranked third in the world. They take it on 11 days' notice, and I go, Mark, we got one. We got one, finally. I think the line was like
Plus 475.
plus 475.
So for those at home, if anybody wants to lose money and wants to learn, so plus money versus minus money.
This is how the American system works.
Yeah. So if there's a plus money, if you bet $100, if you bet $100 at plus 475, you get 475. If it's minus money, so if say it was minus 475 on the other side, you'd have to bet 475 in order to get $100 back. So that's the plus minus side. So basically a 4.5 to 1 underdog.
So I'm literally on betting probation still, having made mistakes.
He has to run it through me. I'm not.
So I text I go, you have to slam this one, right? And now the fight ended up being
raise it then.
But why?
So what happened was with a 38-foot tall fucking dude, his elbow clashed with Tszyu in the third round.
I think it was second
or third round.
So there's so much mismanagement on Tszyu's part, right? So number one, whatever conversation they had, what do we have the odds here? All right, so they think they have it. All right, they had it at Tszyu at minus 350, Fundora plus 265. Oh, we murdered
much
this.
better line than that.
Yes.
Yeah,
so DraftKings. Well, I don't know how much we can say, but I would say
where I gamble, I don't need.
We don't
need
we don't use the internet for our gambling.
Yeah.
So So suck it, IRS. But in terms of lines, that was pretty accurate. Fedora, a incredible underdog.
Yep.
So Fedora catches Tszew's head with an elbow in the second round. Now this is where it gets even more interesting.
If you're the corner.
So Tszyu says 11 days out. Don't worry, we figured this fucking guy out. We figured out how we're gonna change our camp with 11 days out. So you're not even fucking probably sparring this. You can't be sparring at this point.
shutting it down, yeah.
And you're fighting a guy infinitely taller, half the age. As far as
lefty.
You know what I mean. So and then he gets a cut at the crown of his head. The way the cut was, and George did a great job talking about this. Talking about the anesthesiologist and how to stop cuts. Their cutman, I think, was good, but where the placement was and the deepness of the cut, it's brutal.
not going to stop.
Oh, look at the blood here. Absolute bloodbath between both of them. I mean, all that blood on Fedora, that's all Tszew's. Look at the blood. So
right into the eyes, so it obscures the vision. But here's the thing: it was an incidental blow.
Correct.
And all Tszew's corner had to do before the fourth round,
correct,
before it becomes official, is say, hey, the blood is too much. He can't continue. Fight to no contest. Instead of running it back, Tszew's team, if they're worth the damn, they go, let's not fight the 9-foot tall fucking guy with no name recognition. Let's take the geriatric coming off fucking the tail end of his career.
Yeah, and by the way, Tszyu is controlling the fight up until the cut. Right now, listen, it's early, I understand that. Back and forth battle, razor thin. What made the difference? I mean, it's too many intangibles that we already covered. The height, the reach, the southpaw, but the blood was really such an incredible
factor. Can we just drink
factor.
in that fucking frame on a kid? What are they? 126?
It's something like 30, right around there, whatever it was. But yeah, and look at the Vaseline at the top of the scalp to start the round.
I can't stop looking at his legs.
And immediately, it's 8 seconds into the 10 round, blood is immediately hemorrhaging out of it.
Look at the fucking. I've never seen legs like that before in my life. You watch fights differently than I watch fights. I can't stop.
Yeah, Mark, I'm looking at the guy that looks like he's out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm not looking at the fucking.
I'm looking at
beanpole on the
Gumby.
right, dude.
Holy shit.
But so it ended up being a split decision win. I am on a heater, still on probation, not from Maine, just gambling.
Yep.
But now I feel like that you and I are both. I don't know if you heard, professional podcasters.
Professional. Yep.
We are now of a segment called Bet the Farm.
Bet the Farm.
I would like this to be part of my retribution. I would like to come off probation.
So you're gonna lead the listeners in after I literally told you, like, when our come to Jesus moment when I could say anything. The only thing I asked you to do was stop betting. You're gonna tell the listening audience,
Mark. Now there's a paper trail.
That's fair.
So now
there's
as we
accountability.
watch this, there's accountability. So now as we watch this, you're going to see that I have a gift. I feel like we crushed the last UFC. I feel like as a collective, we did.
Yeah.
I whiffed on Jim Miller.
Jim Miller, fucking why? Jim Miller's, I don't know.
Jim Miller decided to not wrestle at all. What the fuck you doing, Jim?
Stand-up war with
absolutely killing me.
Bobby Green.
And you did really well. The Aljo fight was a lock with Calvin Cater.
I upped it. It was a lot, and I love Cater.
Yep.
I love Calvin. I love his hands.
Andrade did really well. Yep. One we both whiffed on. That was still shocking. Was Chandler and Max Holloway. Was it Chandler? No, I'm sorry, Gaethje, the other King of Violence. Yeah,
I thought Gaethje had that based on size alone. I didn't think he'd be snoring
spectacular
on the
ending.
1 second
and
left.
then but I had the Jiri one.
Yep.
So again, like the idea is
Pereira.
But Pereira was academic.
Yeah.
The Jiri one, there was some semblance of thought behind it, right?
Yeah.
Looking at the Jiri and Ratchik fight, right? Jiri's the underdog, right? Now Jiri has just come off a loss to Poatan, right? With a stoppage that was fast-ish. I'm not going to complain about it. It was quick-ish. That's fair.
Yeah.
Ratchik is out of the competition for 2 years.
On like a life-altering knee surgery.
Horrific ACL surgery, right? And what is his biggest win up to that point? Jimmy Manoa? It was a fucking sick knockout, but who the fuck is Jimmy Manoa? Slam that one.
Yuri's always fucking
absolute heater, folks listening at home. I don't know if you're picking up on this.
So
Bet the farm.
You locked on Yuri. Yuri's
with the red corner.
Interesting because his fucking liabilities are so crazy, but his power is remarkable.
He's a samurai.
Well, that fight, he was fucking getting smoked,
killed. So let's do this. Next time, next show, we will take whatever's coming up. We'll look at the UFC. We'll look at boxing. You and I will do
Why are we waiting for the next show? Rob, pull up the next UFC card.
Want to pull up the next UFC?
We'll run it fucking live right now.
It's going to be like an Ultimate Fight Night
Doesn't
with
matter.
like a bunch of like Brazilians that we don't know.
At the Apex, I don't care what it is.
All right.
We'll go.
Oh, you know what's coming up? 301? Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Ooh. 301.
I got one lock for you.
Who?
Who am I shorting every single time he fights?
Okay,
the world's
we
worst
should talk
fucking-
about this. We should talk
So
about this.
you want to talk about
because he
somebody who's
loses me
cost
money.
us
I know you're
infinite
talking
money.
about.
Fucking
You're talking about Mr. Lionheart, aren't
Anthony
you?
fucking Smith. Sucks.
Anthony Smith is the king of losing me money in the sense that no matter how I bet the Anthony Smith fight,
Yeah.
he figures out a way to either win or lose it. Yeah. He stinks. Not a big fan. As far as the 301 card, I'll say this.
Stinkerino.
Holy
dude.
shit!
Yeah.
Where they were definitely because 300 was epic, obviously, and the event right before that was spectacular. What?
300 was 300. The fights were
Delivered.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
They all
I think. Well,
delivered.
here's the thing with 300.
But on paper, I'm like,
no.
dude.
Well, going into it, we were sold that Brock Lesnar was going to fight like a great white shark.
Or like Hamzat was fighting, or Habib was coming out of retirement to fight like GSP. You know what I mean? Like the rumors were absolutely
Hasbulla
crazy.
was gonna fight
and then like,
Joe Rogan.
Bo Nickel is fighting an Uber driver for the 12th time.
Yeah. But as far as 301's concerned, definitely leave somebody.
Yeah, so I got a lock for you. That card's gonna fucking suck.
Yeah, this card's gonna stink.
trash.
Jose Aldo coming out of retirement against an actual. No, I mean like generally coming out of retirement. Ooh, Rob is dangling the carrot. Coffee or Red
you
Bulls?
take the Red Bull.
I'll take the Red Bull.
Yeah, so here's we've talked about this. We were talking about
Thank you, sir.
the only sponsorship somebody with a caffeinated beverage has got to understand.
Mark and
what
I
we bring to the
are
table.
very candid about our lack of drug and alcohol use.
Yeah.
We do not consume drugs or alcohol in any fashion.
Retired our jersey at plenty of places in
Yes.
in the greater Boston area.
Yes, but the one thing that we do indulge greatly in are
energy drinks of all
offensive
sorts.
caffeinated beverages. But we are huge fans of Red Bull. Red Bull, like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Would it kill you? But yeah, so as far as upcoming fights, 301's gonna be done. Can we check Fight Night? What's the next Fight Night there, Rob? What do we got there? Oh, okay. Derek Lewis, Medfield. Wow, these are some shitbag cards, huh? Wow.
Alex Caceres?
Derek Lewis, the last Lewis card. This is another one. So when I bet against Derek Lewis against that fucking Brazilian submission machine, you text me. You're like, Derek Lewis just won by fucking flying knee. Well, I
Out
mean,
of
what the
nowhere.
fuck do you want out of me?
Yep.
I didn't know fucking fat ass Derek Lewis was gonna bust out a flying knee for the first time in his career either. You know what I mean? So no, what we need to do, Mark,
We'll
is
do our homework.
We'll do our homework.
We'll do our homework.
And then I'll put you in the ground.
Yeah.
And then you'll apologize, and then I'll make another mistake in Maine, and then I'll be on probation again.
Yeah.
Betting probation. Betting the farm probation. Okay? Let's not
farm,
go
baby.
crazy. Okay?
the farm, baby.
As far as interesting stuff coming up,
Yeah.
right? Not necessarily strong female leads.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm kind of
So anyway, so Matt alluded to another segment we'd like to do is something called Strong Female League. We talk about women in the fight sport. Things have come a long way. Lots of some movers and shakers in the female world. But what Matt wants to talk about next,
is probably the opposite.
yeah, I mean in my opinion, but
but
go ahead.
wildly interesting still. So we talked about, I think George mentions Misfit Boxing. Did he not? Did he touch on it? He talked about
BKFC.
Okay, but
Talked
he did,
about
I think he
Bare
talked
Knuckle.
about
Misfit?
Jake Paul and shit.
Oh, that's
at
fair,
the end
yeah,
there,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So Misfit Boxing, basically, for those that don't give a shit, and pretty much no one should, is basically the influencers,
Yeah.
right? Which you do not follow at all.
So Matt names names, and I'm like, I don't know who any of these fucking people are.
So Paige Van Zandt. Talk about. I always think of David Spade and Eddie Murphy, and he's like, "Look, a falling star." So Paige Van Zandt, attractive female,
Yep.
could fight
Yep.
in the UFC, and was like, "Okay, I'm way too hot to be in the UFC, and I'm not that great." She had some decent fights. She beat there's like Beck Rawlings and shit
Sure,
with like
yeah.
the kick and stuff. But really, anytime she fought anyone of note, she got her ass kicked, right? So she was like, okay, I'm going to sign a gazillion-dollar contract for a bare knuckle fighting championship. Our experience with that.
Yeah, so we had a fighter on the first BKFC Knuckle Mania card in Lakeland, Florida. Paige was the main event. Our locker room, a little different than Paige's locker room. Paige got her own locker room.
What do you mean? Our locker room had 30 people in it.
They basically like looked at, they're like, hey, like don't make direct eye contact with Paige.
She had
let
her
alone
own
talk to
way
her.
in.
Yeah.
Own separate. So, but and then it turns out she sucked.
She's not very good at bare knuckle either,
She
to be being
fucking
honest.
stinks. So, Britt Hart, who fought around
Yeah,
actually
she-
all the
yeah, yeah.
local boxing circuits here, beat the shit out of her. So then,
Oh, her post fight. She's like, I'm a move. She said something. Bret Hart said something fucking crazy.
I'm
that
a
went
feeling
viral.
or something?
Yeah, it was.
cool. But the point being
Anyway,
is, what it boils down to is Paige Van Zandt is in the premier MMA fighting organization. Chases the bag, does OnlyFans, right? But really, like she's a fighter,
Yeah.
right? She enters bare knuckle, gets the shit kicked out of her. They sign Rachel Ostrovich or whatever,
Yeah.
another chick that's kind of hot, right?
Yeah.
That's like what she's
But
known
another
for.
MMA castaway.
Who beats the shit out of her again. So now they're like, what the fuck do we do with Paige Van Zandt, right? Well, Paige Van Zandt, Jesus Christ, dude. For those watching at home, this podcast probably got infinitely more interesting because Paige Van Zandt is attractive. She's a good-looking female. Well, she is signed on to compete in Misfits Boxing against a woman named, where's her name? Elle Brooke.
Brooke.
So Elle Brooke is my new spirit animal. So Elle Brooke is like a legitimate OnlyFans.
Star? What do you call an OnlyFans?
I was going to say professional.
Yeah.
She's an OnlyFans professional. So she has taken to Misfit Boxing. She is, I guess, of the similar ilk to. I'm so distracted by the TV. She's of similar ilk to like the Salt Poppies of the world that Mark is not familiar with, and he's very proud of that.
I feel like you make up names
I
sometimes.
could, but basically, she's like one of these influencers that like
She wasn't a boxer, but she's actually serviceable in Misfit
she's
Boxing.
serviceable. is the
She's
best way to describe her.
like a low-level club kind of boxer.
So what I love about this, and by the way, it literally the description says internet personality, right? Like she is not fooling anybody. Paige Van Zandt just by happenstance also happens to be hot, but like she
was a fighter first.
I think she
Fighter
would
first,
identify as
attractive
like,
second.
yeah, here's this chick, right? She is not a fighter first, right? She is very clearly a
performer.
Thank you. That was the word I was desperately looking for. So they somehow managed to make this fight, which is insane to me.
I feel like part of the scenery, like she would feel.
Yes, she would feel
comfortable
very comfortable
Yeah.
on this style of
with.
couch.
Yeah.
So and my fans know. So my OnlyFans. So they make this fight, and what I like about it is this Elle Brooke cat, right? It's just like
She's all in.
she's all in the sense she shits all over Paige. She's like, dude, look at where I was in 2016. And it's her. There's a video of like some dude just spraying water on her. And it's like, look at Paige Van Zandt in 2016. It's like she's fighting fucking in front of, 30,000 people in front of millions at home. Right. And she's like, dude, how like embarrassed are you? Yeah. Here's the fucking selling point. I mean, it's going to be a monster. It's at a huge arena in Houston. It's for the Misfit Boxing, by the way, women's middleweight title, which is probably like 3.5 rounds.
I mean, but to credit where it's due, like DAZN knows their audience, and they know they know how to sell fucking pay-per-view buys.
100%.
This is exactly what their people want.
And also, like, God forbid, if Paige Van Zandt finally finds a chick she might be able to fucking beat
know.
finally, dude.
But then what? Like, does she stick with Misfits Boxing? Was like that her new calling?
So the thing is with her...
Because she still has to look in the mirror and be like, I was in the fucking UFC.
Think she gives a shit, dude? Have you followed her career at all? But
You guys
Elle
check
Brooke...
out- you guys check out Elle Brooke's tweet up here.
What does it say?
It says, when they call, I accept. About to retire a UFC star.
Yes! See, this chick's energy is awesome. Now listen, I should also say...
Oh, here's your betting. Yeah, Matt's saying bet
No,
the farm.
I'm
on
not
fucking
saying...
Elle
This is
Brooke,
not
dude.
Bet the Farm. What
Take
I'll say
the
is,
under.
I haven't Googled this chick, and she might have killed
Sure, you've
animals
Googled
and
her.
stuff. Shut the fuck up. What I'm saying is this: this isn't an endorsement for Elle Brooke. I don't know enough about her. I'm very much a 40-year-old man in this scenario, right? Like, I don't know what the fucking TikTok generation knows about this chick. What I'm saying is, in terms of selling this fight, I love the energy. I do.
Yeah.
Because she's like, fuck Paige Van Zandt, dude.
Yeah.
She's like, are you serious? Like, you used to be like this huge superstar and you're fighting me? Like, you an idiot? Like, you stink. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm like, you're an idiot. You stink, dude. I love that, dude. Patriots did, I believe, still under contract with BKFC. So I think even Feldman's like, dude, I gotta get this chick busy. Like.
But is it not an exclusive? Is that how it's working?
It's hard to say. Like with my experience with BKFC is they've always allowed gloved boxing, even like mixed martial arts, as long as it's not bare knuckle.
Yeah.
And there's not like a lot of competition there. In terms of bare knuckle,
You got like Dada 5000s and George Masvidal has like
no. So
what does
even
he have?
Masvidal, dude, is actually partnered.
bare knuckle MMA.
Yeah. So
okay.
Game Bread MMA is
Yep.
bare knuckle MMA, but I think he's in with Feldman. I could be wrong on
yeah,
that. I'm
that's
almost
fair, yeah,
positive though, because there's a lot of guys that fight in BKFC that fight in that.
Gotcha.
So I believe there's some sort of partnership with them.
There was a big one in the UK for a while.
BKB, wasn't it?
BKB.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bare
They
knuckle
still
boxing.
around?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure. I know actually. BKFC
BKFC
now
like,
has
poached a bunch of their guys.
and we talked about it, actually. BKFC now is partially owned by Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
So-
So like the McGregor Entertainment Group or
Yeah,
whatever.
and like if it's anything like McGregor's acting career, I'm sure it's gonna explode.
Well, not for nothing, his fucking Proper 12 was undrinkable, and people bought it by the fucking case. So, I mean, name recognition goes a
People-
long way.
Bought Proper 12 by the case when he was knocking out Jose Aldo in 12 seconds. Did anyone see Roadhouse?
So I'm not.
Rob, did you see Roadhouse? Tell me you saw the fucking new Roadhouse.
I did see the new
Jesus, no, you did
I'm
not.
not fucking with you. I think it blew up in streaming, dude. I'm not. Listen, I have no fucking desire to see
But
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Let me
fucking-
explain to you something. The reason Roadhouse remake did well with Colin and McGregor is the exact same reason people are going to tune in to see Elle Brook and Paige Van Zandt fight for the misfit. Oh, Rob's scaring up. What do we got? What do we got, Rob? He's already laughing. What is it?
It's not going to win any Academy Awards, but
Did you like it?
It was fun.
Okay, that's
It was
fair. As
fun.
someone rocking a Bloodsport hoodie, I can't, what they say about glass houses, they shouldn't throw stones.
Huge fan of the first film too.
Oh,
yeah.
obviously,
Yeah, he's not
man.
a fucking bouncer. He's a cooler. He's a fucking
Mark,
cooler.
I can't do it, dude.
See,
I'm
it's-
I'll walk out.
Ripped his fucking.
No, you
throat
drove.
out.
It's a long walk. It's not that long of a walk. I can
It's
do Uber.
there's zero chance you'd fucking Uber. One, because you can't afford it because I pay for everything, and two.
Did we talk about the roles within the show? The personality pragmatics? Did we already take? Are you still upset by
Was
that?
it? Yeah, the
Yeah.
fucking Rain Man thing. Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm the charismatic one.
No, I
You're
knew.
the
I just wanted to
fucking-
bring up Rain Man again.
You're the fucking number.
No, what
savant
made me
guy.
think of it is because I don't even call my own Ubers. So like when I was like, I'll leave here, I was like, I couldn't even call my own Ubers. Ryan Garcia says he won $10 million betting on himself to beat Devin Haney. Now, all right, so
Yeah, he also he fucking won a fiddle made of gold. Fucking
yeah, see, so
against- like,
here's the
you
thing.
Never know
So
what he's saying is
with,
real or not.
with the betting stuff gets interesting because I talked to guys at the gym like about this. You really can't bet on yourself, from what I gather, because it's not necessarily because someone's like. The kid won at the gym. Who brought a good point. He's like, well, what the fuck? If I believe myself, I'm going to bet on myself to win.
I think you can bet to win.
You can move the line, though. I think you can't because the thing is, all right, say I'm fighting you, I believe I'm going to beat you, right?
No chance.
Oh, you fucking
Not
dude.
a fucking
Point being is this, dude.
million years.
The idea is, what if I'm slamming the over? I rock your shit in the third round.
And you take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, dude, because it manipulates.
No, what I'm saying is,
the-
I think you can money line it. I'm not saying over under.
I don't think you can because remember the whole James Krause scandal in the UFC.
James Krause was a fucking. Are you serious? That's a completely different set of circumstances, dude. Where he fucking fixed fights.
He didn't fix them. He didn't fix them. Like Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Sorry, I bet on
Yeah.
baseball. Pete Rose insisted he never even bet on his fucking own team even playing. Now he's full of shit, but I don't think there's any paper trail. What did Otani's guy do? Did Otani's guy do the translator, the interpreter?
He's going away.
Otani ain't doing shit. He's the
Otani's
only reason
guy
to
is
watch.
not going away.
What?
Oh, sorry. Otani's not. His fucking interpreter.
If the interpreter
Translator,
goes away,
interpreter,
that
whatever.
is bananas. Because, Mark, do you think the interpreter's like staying up in the middle of the night betting on fucking women's soccer? You don't think that's Otani? Are you fucking
My
out of your
initial
mind?
instinct, 100%. But then they're like, dude, he was like Colin Banks impersonating Otani and stuff.
No, dude, you're crazy. You gotta research that more. But point being is, I don't think Ryan Garcia can bet on his own. I don't think you can, dude.
The guy isn't, if nothing,
He's believable.
and honest.
He's an honest guy.
Like he's just, you know what I mean? Like
So, but in terms of betting, the Krause thing was interesting because what happened was he didn't disclose an injury, and then the line moved. I think what he did was he told everyone slam the other guy.
he
All right,
did
yeah,
some
so he-
fucking incredibly shady shit. He's
Do
he's
you know
going
you,
to federal prison.
Do you know you can no longer? By the way, I said, do you know you should fact check this? But from my understanding, you can no longer bet on MMA in Canada. This is not a joke because of James Krause.
All of
That's
Canada?
correct.
Thanks, James.
James Krause, fucking albatross. You know what I'll say is
The Alberta albatross. I don't know where he's from.
he might be Alberta.
The alliteration
Albertan.
fucking works.
For all our Canadian listeners, sorry if I misappropriated your province.
So yeah, Paige Van Zandt, OnlyFans. I think that's where we started with this shit.
No, we were highlighting women's fighting and champion women's fighting. So we focused on one woman that transitioned to OnlyFans and another one that started at OnlyFans. Hopefully, in the future, we'll talk to actual prolific female
Elle
boxers.
Page or whatever her name was.
Elle
she's
Brooke.
She's a lock.
She's like, yes! We have Estrada. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on in female boxing. When Mark and I are not that old. We're not that old. But when we were coming up, even in the gyms,
There was nobody.
there was it was like you would talk, it'd be discussing Paul Bunyan.
Yeah.
Like the idea of a female boxer was like a myth.
They would walk in. They'd be like, "Oh, you looking to get into shape or?"
Yeah. Or are you looking for directions
Yeah.
to somewhere
it was like Christy
else?
Martin was like,
Was it.
that was it.
That was it, right? And then a little bit later on, you got Layla Ali.
Yeah, I
and
was gonna
shit.
say Layla,
but
yeah.
realistically, that was it. And now every gym at the amateur level and professional level, you see women well
And
represented.
and I find Ronda to be particularly fucking insufferable.
But trailblazer,
yeah,
obviously.
if you don't have Ronda, you don't have Carano, you don't have those.
You didn't have anyone in the UFC.
Yeah. Well, that's that when they made because Dana was pretty famous for saying like women are never ever gonna fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
And then he was smashing Ronda
Allegedly.
and then you get it kind of blowing up.
Yeah. I mean, she did, pave the way for female mixed martial artists, certainly. And then,
I just think of fucking Derek Lewis being like, she asked about me.
yeah, she asked Moby? No. No, female boxing is at the forefront. I mean, we're seeing at the amateur level. We always talk about, we've always had a good presence of females in our gym.
Yep.
From the jump.
Yep.
And then, even at the local professional level, some of the biggest draws are female boxers. And I think what it is that it's a combination of, it has come full circle, right? The fact that it's more approachable, there's less barriers. But then additionally, you're starting to see generationally, those girls are seeing themselves in
and they jump in the gym early because
Yep.
they feel like they can belong there. Yeah.
I also see, like, compared to other professional sports, female combat sports do infinitely better than any of the sports.
100%. That like you could have so if you had WNBA finals against the NBA, I almost got the giggles.
Mark, Jesus Christ.
Because if you got the WNBA finals and the NBA, like the NBA finals, and like, dude, we're gonna have an all
Mark, but you're killing me, dude.
all women's game.
Here's the thing. I'll say this.
Woo!
If
But what I'm saying is, you could have a major UFC headlined by females,
and you have a million times,
and they print money because you want it. I'm like, I'm
Mark, you're
fucking
killing me.
crying, dude.
So, but if you look at it, how about was it Zhang Wei Li and Johanna? What was the unbelievable fight?
yeah,
Yes.
with the hematoma.
Yeah, it's like you don't see that in other sports. You know, you don't. You're dying. So, but you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
like, so in other sports, when they talk about females,
Never gonna get that Caitlin Clark interview now.
yes. So that when they talk about females, what they talk about them as like they're like a unicorn.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark,
Yep.
right? Danica Patrick, even Layla Ali at the time.
But when they're talking about female fighters, you're talking about
Yeah.
you're talking about people that are considered no different than any other fighter.
Yeah. Do you want to bring this up, Rob? Show
Yeah.
some highlights of some of the.
Yeah, I'll plug my own trailer.
Let's. Oh yes! Did you film this one?
Yeah, this is a piece that I did with Michaela Mayer. We're doing a whole episode just on female fighters.
Oh, no kidding.
Right, and this was earlier. This was before one of her fights.
I always just believed in myself. Sometimes I was the only female in the room, the only one there for sparring. Sometimes there was no girls to spar, and the guys would say, no, I don't spar girls. And so I'd leave that day without any work. But, I just kept showing up, and it's great now because you walk into a gym and sometimes you see more women than men.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what we're saying.
And she won that fight.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I mean the thing is, again, there's truth to that. You
Yeah.
do walk into gyms, and like especially in the area. I mean, the Northeast just tends to be more progressive, anyways.
Yeah.
Not to toot our own horns or anything like that, but like, there's gyms in the area. Like, we're pretty well known for our female stable. Boston Boxing, like Portland has Animals. There's so many great gyms that are known for their female boxers, and they're on an even playing field, and a lot of times beyond what the males are performing at. I mean, especially at the national level, New England always performs better with females than they do with males. Always.
Yeah, at the Nationals last year, like Lauren won the whole thing.
Yep.
Migliacci.
It's very Italian.
You butcher last names.
I can't even say normal ones.
Serafina Brown made it to the finals.
Yeah, Paige Egerich was in there. There was a ton of great females,
Yeah.
but the point being is like female boxing is in combat sports in general. It's as even a playing field from an entertainment and viewership standpoint as any sport has ever seen.
I'm curious how the financial splits are. I bet it's a lot closer. Than,
way closer.
I
mean, that's someone like Ronda Rousey a champion that.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I'm sure there is discrepancies, obviously. But and then the Paul brothers are really good about pay. I know Serrano makes better money. Katie Taylor and stuff makes better money, and I think it's because of them. And I think they're big proprietors and champions of female boxing. Oh, here's another clip. Can we see this one, Rob?
This one is a little longer. I'll just give you the highlights.
All right,
please.
give us a taste.
She's amazing. Oh, where's my sound?
We would watch boxing on TV, but it was just men. And then that's when I said, well, I want to box. So I was the only girl walking into gym for sparring in Los Angeles. Now sometimes there's more women than there is men. In order to get people to watch, you have to bring something else to the table. You have to have skills, you have to be different. My next fight November 2nd is a huge fight for women's boxing, and I'm very excited to be fighting on the Canelo undercard, and you definitely do not want to miss it. I'm going to show Marlena Esparza why I'm here to stay.
Yeah, she won that one too.
Yeah, again, and you weren't seeing females on stuff like Canelo Alvarez undercards.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, can you imagine like a Tyson undercard
with a female? It's crazy. It just didn't exist, you know. And again, we're not talking about women's suffrage.
Yeah, 50, 60, 70 years ago. We're talking
you know?
about 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
I mean, even from our own sake, we have female pro right now, Lexi Bolduc, who we're traveling out to Kansas for a huge fight.
Beautiful Topeka, Kansas.
Topeka's an odd place. Well, I don't know. Topeka's cool. All my Topeka listeners, what's up, Topeka? No, I don't know. But we're heading out there for a big, huge outdoor show, and it's like a showcase bout. And then even the card we're promoting, June 28th, we have two massive female bouts on it, professional bouts at the Royale in Boston.
One thing we've talked about that's still kind of weird is that like almost all major promotions are doing 2-minute rounds for females still, and it's like
such bullshit.
They fight 3-minute rounds at the open, so after 10 fights, they're fighting 3-minute rounds at the amateur level, and then you get them on the big stage, and they're going back to 2-minute rounds. So hopefully that goes.
There have been some instances where you did see 3-minute rounds,
time,
but you have to like negotiate with the commission and stuff like that. But that's definitely a step in the right direction where eventually we will see women having 3-minute rounds, because there's no difference as far as, because it's an equal playing field. You're competing against women and women. 3-minute rounds is what you see at the amateur level. Why wouldn't you see it at the professional level?
That's all
of
I'm
course.
saying,
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, there's our girl Lexi right here. So Lexi made her professional debut. Just recently in Melrose. She will be traveling to Kansas May 18th. And then from there, we're back June 28th at Royale in Boston. She's taking on a pretty prolific Canadian Colliard, Sarah Colliard. I can't pronounce any of these Canadian names. Yeah. I can't pronounce any names. We already covered that.
Yeah.
But Colliard, I don't know.
Yeah,
you know,
that was good.
But she had a pretty prolific amateur career. So, but yeah, we're big fans of female fighters. Big fans of progression in the sport in general, and it's something that we get to see in real time.
Yeah. It's we didn't see a lot of different things develop. We got to see kind of MMA show up,
sure,
and kind of see that grow. But like one of the biggest things we saw at our age was like women being able to show up at the gym and be treated with the same level of respect as men. And
it wasn't like a female fight team and male fight team. We have a fight team, which again is, I think, super uncommon. If you look at any other sport, and when I say I'm talking about combat sports in general.
Yeah.
Kickboxing, boxing, MMA. They
Yeah.
all seem to have the fight team tends to be,
A mix.
a mix. Whereas anything else, even the dive team is going to be, separated by sex. So I think we're on the forefront there. We're a little bit more progressive. Who said fucking boxers are,
I did giggle the whole WNBA thing. I was
Well,
'cause
Mark, the idea.
I'm
no
talking about
shit, dude.
financially. They're not pulling in the same fucking money. That's all I was saying.
You
So,
got the giggles. You got the giggles. It is
it's
what
just
it is.
WNBA,
is
they don't. But a Ronda Rousey main event is pulling in money. So
Oh,
that's,
certainly.
I laughed at the idea.
That's a crazy analogy. It was.
Thanks for watching our last episode, folks.
Yeah, hey, we had a good
Appreciate it.
run, everybody. The Toe to Toe Fight Show. I'm looking. I'm be soliciting a new co-host.
You gotta sit in the blue
The
corner
blue
still.
corner's open. Looking for a female
I'm keeping the
co-host
pillows,
next
though.
week. So it should be good. George,
Nice,
how are you?
nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you
Yeah, I don't know if
formally.
we've ever met, but I know exactly who you guys are.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, you're a little more famous than we are,
Yeah,
for being
yeah,
honest, George. So
yeah, a
About
little bit better known than the Nolan Brothers in and around here, and internationally, and everywhere else in the world. I think every interview probably starts with the actual question. So what does everyone call you? Like what do we call you, George? Do we call you George?
do we call you Monk?
I mean,
what is?
you can call me whatever you want. Number one, I go by. My name is George. I mean, most people, like casual and professional relationships, everybody calls me George. All my friends call me Monk.
Gotcha.
And then I have some friends that call me George just because they got used to that.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it.
That's fair. That's fair.
A little bit of G3.
Oh, is that right? Thrown in there. See, Mark and I grew up in a similar situation in the sense that Mark and I have similar names and we're identical, but I don't think it was as egregious as all Georges. You know what I mean? So a little bit more straightforward. In terms of where you're at now, you look like you're enjoying much better weather than we are. Is that right?
I am. I hate to break it to you, but it's pretty nice out here. I'm actually in Calabasas right now, and it's like probably like 85 degrees, sunny, dry.
Yeah.
And then this morning I was hiking in Malibu, and it was, we started in the 60s, ended in like low 70s, or high 70s. But it's definitely a lot different from Boston.
I bet. Now, how close are you to your current gym? Are you within like a short drive?
I'm about 1 minute away.
Oh, you're right there.
No traffic. I catch a light 1 minute. If I don't catch a light, 3 minutes.
That's ideal. So now I just caught the fights last night, BKFC.
Yep.
Now Shane Jordan fighting out of your gym?
No, he's not. He's not fighting out of my gym, but he's still in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And yeah, he fought last night.
All right. Did you catch the fights at all? Did you pick up with BKFC at all, or no?
I caught the fight. I actually had one of the champions. I'm forgetting his name. He came and trained in my gym yesterday. He didn't have a fight last night, but he was there to call somebody out. And then there was another lady who won her fight. She had red hair. I'm forgetting her name.
I know
but
exactly who
she-
you're talking about too. I can't think of her name either.
But a friend of mine manages 15 bare knuckle fighters, and I was gonna go, but if I went, I think my wife was gonna divorce me. Movie night. But I know quite a few people in bare knuckle. It's actually really exciting to see what's going on right now. It's hot. I heard they may soon have a deal with the zone and so on and so forth. So I think they're going to be a force to reckon with. And they announced last night they have Conor McGregor, I believe, has now become a partner. So that's exciting, right?
That is exciting. Now, as far as management's concerned, do you ever train guys that work with bare knuckle or anything like that, or is it typically just conventional boxing?
No, I don't think so. We had a few people come through the gym, and they once or twice and get some boxing tips, but we don't have anybody that we train for bare knuckle right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, as far as your own personal boxing journey, I would say it's probably a little less conventional, right? In the sense that you, right? So did you have an amateur career? I'm familiar with your professional career. I'm familiar with the coaching career to a degree, but what was it like actually taking the trip from, I guess, from not boxing to boxing?
Yeah, I definitely had a different experience. I'd still say I'm finishing up my amateur career now. But I didn't fight amateur. I wanted to. And for about, I'd say 6 months. It's hard to get fights as a heavyweight in general.
Yep.
And as a heavyweight with 0 fights, when you're trying to fight someone 0, 1 or 2 fights, that can be tough. And then on top of it, I was in Houston, that's where we're from, and my father had a reputation from being there. That's his hometown, So, there was no coach that was like, yeah, it's my guy's first fight. I'm going to throw him in with George's son. Like, why? You can just fight somebody else, and it's still a W. It's a win or a loss. No one's going to give you credit. No one's going to care if you lost and it was George's son or vice versa. And I couldn't box a lick back then. They should have taken the fight, but nobody. I kept having people pull out of fights last minute, and no one would pre-match with me. So finally, my pops was like, "Well, why don't you just have a pro fight?" And he's like, you can develop yourself that way. It's a different journey. And I was like, sure. I just wanted to have a fight.
Yep.
Started. I went from spending 95% of my time on planes and in hotels, working on business deals, so to speak, to running, chopping wood, digging holes, beating up the punching bag, sparring, 50, 60 rounds a week for like 5 years straight. That's just all I did. So, and I went like, it wasn't like a casual thing. And then I thought about maybe fighting. It was once I decided I was going to have my first fight. I just completely dedicated myself to boxing for 5 years. All I did was like watch tape, eat, sleep, cook, sleep, run, train, eat, sleep, watch tape, until about 2013.
We hear you on that last name, especially as on the amateur side. We always, we've been boxing coaches for a long time now, and we got offered a fight in Rhode Island. And like, oh yeah, this amateur kid, he's got 3 fights. We always like, what's his name? What's his record? What's his name? What's his record? Who was it?
I don't even recall.
The junior, the son of.
It was Chad Dawson Jr. And I'm like, no,
exactly.
we're not taking. That's right. It was like, no, actually, as a matter of fact, good question. We're definitely not taking that fight. And now Chad Dawson Jr.'s son, or whatever, he might be trash, but just it's the boogeyman name. I don't want any of that smoke.
Yeah, why?
Yeah, exactly. That's totally true.
If you were getting paid for it, or your fighter was getting paid, it'd be 100%. Different. But it's like, we're gonna go down there and do that for free? Nah.
No way. And it doesn't help the fact that George Foreman's son also is 6'5", and is a big dude that can box a little bit, not for nothing, right? So you said around 2013 is when that part kind of transitioned. Now, is that when the club and stuff started to see the light of day? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I was I wanted to. The goal was I'd had 16 fights, and I was starting to count on my fights to pay my bills. I'd been I hadn't been working for like 4 years, and I said, you know what, I don't really want to count on boxing to pay my bills because how up and down it can be. So I said, let me start a gym because I love being in the gym. I discovered during that journey that I love training people. I love teaching boxing, and started a gym. For number one, because like I said, I love teaching people, but also I figured I could be immersed in boxing 24/7 and then taper down my schedule, train for a fight, go fight, come back and go back to work. And I could fight when it made sense for me, not because I needed the paycheck. I think that was really important because I feel like if you're trying to develop yourself, taking last minute fights or even a title shot when you're like, my hand hurts or like you have a knee injury, all these things, I didn't want that to be my life. And so I started the gym in Boston. At the time, we called it the Club by George Foreman III. That was the time. That's what we called that at the time because I just wanted some Google action if someone searched us. But then we changed it to Everybody Fights. But I just outfitted it as a gym that, would service my training camp.
Yeah.
We had 2 rings, 80 bags, sauna, juice bar, steam room, physical therapy, all things that I used during training camp. But it just so happened that it really resonated with the community, and I got so busy I never went back to boxing.
That's fantastic. Now right there, hold on.
I just got busy. Huh?
You never went back to boxing.
I tried.
Yes. Now, is that anything you would ever kick around? Because I know another guy, this guy, George Foreman, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he came back to boxing at one point and did really, really well. In fact, my brother and I talk about it all the time. I feel like, and again, obviously you lived it, but I felt like your father was a better boxer when he returned to boxing.
Like pure boxing. And he was terrifying in the 70s, but when it came to pure boxing, like his comeback, he was more refined, more of a classic boxer
That's right.
in the 90s.
And the opponents that he saw, I think a lot of people, talk about the Moore fight and stuff, but I think they sleep on the fact that he fought, a boogeyman prime, Evander Holyfield, and went to war with him. Stuff like the Briggs fight, which I think is a sham. But I think he looked better I think he aged well. Even the Cooney knockout and stuff later in his career, it was spectacular.
Oh, the walk-off uppercut?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was fortunate. He didn't drink or smoke or anything like that during his layoff. He ate a lot of hamburgers, and we were talking the other day, and I was asking him about nutrition because I went on like a carnivore diet for 30 days for my skin. Actually, I had some allergy issues, and I was coming off of it, and I was like trying to pick and choose what carbs I use. And long story short, I was like, Dad, do you have any tips? Like, we have this similar genetics. Like, what worked for you? Potatoes or this or that. And he said, you know what? The hamburger. I was like, after all these years, you're like 75 years old, and everything you've learned, you still go back to the hamburger. He was like, pickles, lettuce, tomato. He was like, there's a lot of good stuff in there. But yeah, he would his only vice was eating. And he came back and he started from scratch, the way a lot of guys don't want to when they make their comeback. And he fought nobodies, every every 4 to 6 weeks. So by the time he fought Evander, I don't have his record in front of me, but he had probably fought like 24 times in 2 years, 24 times in 2.5 years or something like that. So he was busy. So where he lacked the ability to be, 25 years old and a freak of nature, which Evander was, or whatever his age was, and sharp and the world heavyweight champion in his prime, where he lacked that. He was busy, he was mature, he had a preserved body, and he could still crack, if you stood in front of him. So he was fortunate to have those things going for him, but he did the work, so.
Definitely. And now yourself, Mike, and I were talking to, we're of similar age as you are. We present differently than you do.
Yeah, we aged a little more like cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Than wine, George. So what is a typical? What is a some good cheese. Yeah. But what does the typical workout and regimen look like for George Foreman now?
Me or my dad?
You.
Oh, me? Well, honestly, I'm training to fight again now. So, I had, when I opened the gym in Boston, I tried once to mount a training camp, and I brought in sparring partners, put them up at hotels and everything. And I was missing sessions because the business needed me,
Yeah.
And at the time I'd be losing money to stop and box. And so, so we did that twice, unsuccessfully. And I realized, if I'm not going to respect the sport, I'm not going to do it. And then right before COVID, I had a little period where I wasn't really spending much time in the gyms anymore. So I said, you know what, this is my chance to start getting it back together. And then COVID happened, and we spent, that whole time trying to, survive in the fitness industry. But long story short, now, I'm at a time where I do have the time, and I still feel like I'm healthy enough. So now I'm training, to be honest, it sounds crazy, but I'm training 6 to 8 hours a day.
Oh my God.
That's, running, swimming, hiking, one of those 3 for cardio, then another hour and a half to 2 hours of boxing, then another, easily 5 or 6 hours of strength training every day. And it's a lot, and it's too much. It's, borders on the line of overtraining. But right now, my goal is I want to prepare myself for one fight. I'm going to fight more than once, but the one fight I'm preparing myself for is a heavyweight championship of the world. That's what I'm preparing for. So I'm training hard, not because the person I'm fighting 3 weeks from now is going to be such a tough fight, or the person I'm fighting 8 weeks from now is going to be such a tough fight, but I want to be ready for the phone call if we get the opportunity to fight for the title. So if all goes well, I'll have, maybe 3 or 4 tune-ups between now and September, and then hunker down and get ready for a real competitive fight.
And what are you looking at for the tune-ups? You look at an 8-rounder, 10-rounder? What's the progression, and what does it look like leading up to that, hopefully that big shot?
Yeah, the first one's 4 to 6 rounds. I think the first one they want me to do 6. They look at my record. I'm 16-0, even though I haven't fought in almost 11 years.
Yep.
I'm like, guys, but anyway, they're like, you have to fight 6 rounds or 8 rounds. So it depends on the commission. My first couple fights are in Mexico, so they're a little more chill.
Yep.
So it'll be 6 rounds. And then my second fight, I think I'll try to get it scheduled for 6. And then after that, we'll go 8 for a couple and then 10 for a couple.
Excellent. Very cool. As an aside, Mark and we do have a promoter's license. We're doing shows in Boston. So if you ever want to return to Boston,
The Royale.
on Tremont Street, we definitely always have a spot for George.
I'll be there. I didn't realize you guys were promoting. I would love to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we try to stay busy. We will not be returning to the ring in any facet. We will not be training 8 times or 8 hours a day. So the goal then is you're seeing it through to the end. Like the ultimate goal is you want heavyweight gold.
Yeah. Like when me and my dad started, after like the first 2 or 3 fights, we kind of had this moment where we decided it was going to be not just a bucket list thing. It was, we're going to do this. And all we talked about was competing for the heavyweight title. He's like, if we do this, we do that. You know, you keep getting busy, getting comfortable in front of crowds, which is really what the tune-up fights are about. He's like, you can get a title shot, and then we're going to have to prepare a certain type of way. But that's what we set out to do, and I took a break from it, and I just kind of feel like I have to finish. I don't know why I feel like I have to finish. You know, I don't need to. It's not like it's a financial thing, but it's something I set out to do, and I want to do it.
So what do you have any like stable mates or like do you fly in sparring partners already? What does your coaching look like? Like who's going to be in the corner? Kind of walk us through what that's going to look like.
It's pretty simple. I have a coach. My boxing coach is a guy named Hernan, who I know from New York. He's one of those people that doesn't have kind of the big credential, but I've seen him take people who've never boxed before and as an amateur and have them win the New York State Athletic Golden Gloves in a year and things of that nature. And he's just a special talent in terms of understanding boxing technique and so on and so forth. So he'll be training me. On the boxing side, I have a strength coach who we go as hard as we can in the weight room 4 to 5 times a week. Obviously most of that will turn into, explosive training and, plyometrics and stuff like that later in the year. But right now it's about building strength. And then my cut man, a guy named Eddie Ackaway, he's actually an anesthesiologist. I can't pronounce it.
No, you nailed it.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that actually understands what to do with the cut and all the, different chemicals or so on and so forth you can use to stop bleeding. But he's a guy that just loves boxing. He made his money doing other things. So that'll be my team. Hernan, my strength coach, Chris, and then Eddie. And then myself, obviously, I have to get in there and get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Now, looking at the current heavyweight landscape, are there...
You know what? One real quick.
Oh, yeah,
I take that back. I have a chiropractor I see every week. But she does more other stuff than, not just, she doesn't snap my back. She does long story short, I have to see her every week,
Gotcha.
right? She's always we work through injuries, physical therapist I see every week, masseuse I see every week. So I guess the team is more like 6 people.
I mean, that's a serious team. I mean, that's about as, yeah, absolutely.
One.
No, you have to. And if you're going to take it all the way, you have to prepare yourself and surround yourself with the right people.
Yep.
And then in terms of just looking at the heavyweight landscape currently, are there any guys that you see yourself facing off with down the road, or is it too early to talk that way? Are there any guys you see that,
Yeah. The only person I'm interested in, I think, look, I could tell you, it would be fun to fight Deontay Wilder because he's an exciting guy to be in a promotion with. It'd be fun to fight Anthony Joshua because he's kind of the golden boy of boxing, or fight sports right now. And he's a heavyweight. And I think he always makes for an interesting fight one way or the other, There's great names like that. But I just want to fight Tyson Fury. It's the hardest fight out there. He, in my opinion, is the most dominant heavyweight champion. Defending his title. I think Mike, when he got his title in 1 or 2 defenses, is probably the most dominant heavyweight champ in his prime. But I think all things considered, Tyson Fury, I think he's the hardest heavyweight to beat that I've ever seen because, he's 6'9" with skills that are almost kind of like Muhammad Ali.
He's slippery. He's hard to figure out.
Yeah.
People don't box like that after they cross over 6'2",
No.
So I think I'm not going to take away the fact that he's 6'9" from him and say, well, if Ali was 6'9", what would he be? He's 6'9", but he ducks and rolls and slips and all that. That's a tough guy to beat. And most importantly, he's the lineal champ. He's the man who beat the man who beat the man who beat the man.
Exactly.
And so title or no title, that's the guy I want. So, it'd be tough. He may not be around by the time I get my shot, but that's the guy I want.
Yep.
And if somebody else has the lineal title or the belts at some point this time next year, then that's what it's going to be. It's just about the title.
Yeah. Awesome. Wow. I love it. I got to say, that was wildly entertaining. I'm really excited about the idea of your approach to the strap in the sense that you're not driven by anything other than the fight. There's no financial implications. You don't care about anything other than fighting the guys at the top, and it's something that boxing is desperately in need of at the amateur level, at the local professional level, and at the top end of it. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to my brother and I.
No, it's number one, thank you, but number two, I think no, it's fun talking with you guys. You understand boxing. You're historians. You're engulfed in it. You're promoting, and so on and so forth. So I love talking to people who understand the sport.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. We've been across the ring a couple times at Haymakers, and you guys fucked us up pretty much every time. So
yeah, real dick move, George. No, but no, in all seriousness, you guys do quite well. Yeah, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, man.
Well, glad to be with you, man. I'm excited to see how the show develops, and seeing you guys cover some of these big events that are coming up. We got the big one this summer with Jake Paul, and the silliness like we saw a few weeks ago with Ryan Garcia. So to see these are going to be awesome.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it should be interesting. It's a fun time to be in the sport. You know, there's a lot of movers and shakers going on. You know, it's kind of a little bit of a renaissance. You know, whether it's the Jake Paul. Love him or hate him, at least people are talking about it, you know, and whether Ryan's tweeting or missing weight or knocking people out, you know, he's worth talking about, you know, so it's a good time.
Talking about devil worshiping or whatever.
We were talking about. We were like, listen,
predicting earthquakes and the Illuminati. Yeah, yeah.
So he predicted earthquakes. He missed weight by 3.5 pounds, but he got the job done, and we're talking about him now, you know. So it's pretty wild. So he does have a more interesting Twitter account than us. I'll say that much. Certainly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
George, keep us posted. Maybe check in after your next fight.
I'll keep you guys posted, man. I'll keep you in shape, and thanks for having me, man. Good luck with everything.
Excellent. Good luck to you too, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, George. All right. So as we dabble into new things, these just smell like good leather. Rob, what's the name of this brand? Shadow Fight Goods. Shadow Fight Goods, official sponsor of the Toe to Toe Fight Show. Whoa.
Almost has like a Grant pocket, right?
It's tight. Good high quality leather. It looks like, oh, look at this, dude. So, all right. So for those that don't know, right? Whenever an amateur boxer shows up to your gym and they have lace-up gloves, they better be good or get the fuck out of my face.
If I don't know you and you ask, if you put your hand out for me to lace your gloves, I'll fucking slap you.
But what I'm seeing here, right? So they sell lace converters. It looks like
this is part and parcel.
Part and parcel. Yeah. So if you look, right, they actually have the lace converter hooked up directly to the laces.
So they're Filipino gloves. They're crafted in the Philippines. So the profile. Like that profile a lot. It's got that kind of Mexican bullet, that Reyes Grant kind of tight profile, not like thumb secured out of the way. I always hate when the thumb kind of projects at a weird angle. Nice glove.
I know you guys want to see the promo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Can we see the promo?
Close thumb. I nailed it. So I'm glad I did that raw without even.
Can I say we sounded like total corporate scabs?
Yeah, no, I know. But look at that. But like that, I literally mentioned the enclosed thumb. It mentions the enclosed thumb. It's completely profiled out. The regular versus a tight pocket or a narrow pocket.
Which is great for Mark and I, not to brag, have smallish hands.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just end up swimming in these gloves. And this is nice and tight. Additionally, we talked about the hybrid lace and Velcro, which gives the wrist support that you would find in a lace-up glove without having you be up my ass the entire time.
They have a curved grip bar. I don't know if you can see that. That's a weird thing I've never seen before. I like that they did that for a more natural grip. You'll see with like Thai gloves, a lot of times they'll have no grip bar at all, so you can kind of play with your finger, your grip strength there. So like on like a traditional like a Fairtex BGV1 or something, they'll have no grip bar. I like a grip bar.
You're a big fan of grip bars, right?
I do. I for me, it feels it's a more natural grip. I do like a broken in glove where I can kind of like work my parries and my defense a little bit.
Sure.
But I'm always down with. I'm not huge on like that American style or even like
the bulbous look, right?
Yeah. So like winning, I know have a reputation for being super protective. I don't like that really round kind of surface that they're kind of known for.
I think with
nice glove, man.
with the glove like this, you can land with a more natural surface area, and even though like a winning, they champion like protection in any glove like that. The issue is sometimes if it's an unnatural surface, then you can't really land flush. Good thumb positioning.
Yeah, I don't know that I know any gloves based out of the Philippines. There's a lot of Pakistani gloves. That's where like. It's funny. It's where a lot of the nicer gloves come out of.
Sure.
Like instead of like you get Chinese gloves kind of the bottom, and then Pakistani, and then you get like Mexico, or you get Japan. But
16 ounce sparring gloves. I'll tell you what. Yeah. So I don't know if it'll be for the next show, but we'll definitely get some of these in the gym.
No limpness to the wrist. Nice
good wrist support. We'll get some of our guys beating the shit out of each other in these gloves. So
we'll show you what they look like with blood on them.
Designed here in America.
No
is
kidding.
that
There
right?
you go.
Yeah, fully designed here in America. Sick, awesome. By the way, this appears to have blood on it. Does this have blood on it, Rob? Did someone beat the shit? There's like fucking. I think there's blood on this. Did someone beat the shit out of somebody with these?
96% chance, yes.
Yeah, there's definitely someone definitely
Give
beat
it
the
a
shit
taste
out of
test,
this.
dude.
Yeah, but these are awesome gloves.
Sick.
Really, really high quality.
Cool. Shout out to Shadow.
Yeah, these are nice.
Let's close out with a local tough guy segment.
Yeah, let's see it.
Who do you got?
Are we who in terms of local tough guy? Are we talking about someone we're gonna focus on?
Give us an amateur spotlight, Matt. Who are we looking at?
Are we looking at amateurs? All right. So in terms of amateur spotlights,
or local fight news, you want to talk about anything?
Yeah. So we have a massive. So in terms of local promoters, right?
Walk it all the way back. Talk us through the Boston, New England scene. Talk about who does it right.
Yeah, so the thing is this, right? I'll line short because I'm not going to be disparaging.
No, of course.
The idea is that when boxers are coming up, the most important thing is protecting that O.
100%.
With mixed martial arts, if you have a loss, if you have 12 losses, you're Charles Oliveira and you're the fucking man still. In boxing, if you lose once, you suck. Like Devin Haney stinks now all of a sudden, right? Because he lost to fucking Ryan Garcia.
Still the current champ because he didn't give up a strap, but that's the perception.
So when you're making these local matchups, the issue you have is this. Oftentimes what you have is someone that's 3-0, 4-0, 8-0, 11-1, and then they get matched with what is considered an opponent, okay? So it's a guy that might have some wins, might not have some wins, will give some rounds, maybe won't give some rounds, but really that 6-0, that 8-0 guy is selling tickets to his friends and family, right? A lot of times. He doesn't necessarily have a fan base. So it becomes incredibly difficult for local promoters to put on quality bouts between local fighters. Now, oftentimes you'll get a dude that's 12-0. Maybe you can find a guy from Florida that's 15-0 and you get a fucking great fight.
100%.
It happens, right? Mark and I just started our boxing promotion. We have our first show June 28th at Royale Boston, and we are lucky enough to have put together a fucking monster main event.
So a bit, you'll see a lot of rumblings online. They'll drop 15 names like so and so doesn't fight so and so, and there are hoops to jump through that people don't understand. So like a lot of these guys are signed to exclusive deals, and as promoters, you kind of have to protect guys that are under your contract.
Oh, you absolutely have to.
So, we were lucky enough to work with
the man, Jimmy Birchfield. If you guys don't know who Jimmy Birchfield is, if there was like a Mount Rushmore of boxing promoters in the New England area,
it's just Jimmy's head 4 times.
It's Jimmy's fucking head 4 times. He is the best. He's been doing it for 35 years. He does everything. He's the busiest dude on planet Earth.
And we talked a little bit about how, a lot of times you're looking at guys protecting their 0, so it's 8-0 versus 1-16. If you look at Jimmy's cards, they're not like
The
that.
CES cards are
stacked,
top to bottom competitive bouts, and really like when we're doing stuff in the Boston area, we wanted to mirror that.
Yeah, we're looking up to Jimmy and trying to kind of do what he's doing.
So I wanted to get a real good local guy, and so I reached out to a coach that I'm friendly and familiar with, this guy Manny Farley, for his fighter Nick Molina. So Nick Molina's, I believe, 14-1.
And Nick, we've known for a very long time. We had Nick fight on one of our amateur cards.
Yes, fighting another stud pro fighter now, Troy Anderson, who I believe is 8-1
Yep.
right now as a pro.
Nick, standout amateur.
Yeah.
Great kid.
Yep.
Phenomenal pro.
Yep. Has beaten some really good local guys. Really good, like the Brandon Higgins, guys like that. So when I talked to him and I talked to Manny, usually the conversation goes, okay, here's the Brazilian carpenter I want him to fight, you know? And Manny started giving me names. And then, and I was like, whoa,
okay.
You want these? And he's like, we want these guys. And one name he gave me was Josh Orta. So I reached out to Josh Orta, who happened to be under contract with Jimmy Birchfield. And I happen to have a relationship with Josh's manager and lawyer, Phil Sire. We're breaking it here. You guys will be the first to know probably. Our main event is going to have 14-1 Nick Molina versus I think 10-0. Is it 10-0 or 11-0? Josh the Terror Orta. Nick Molina from Lowell up north, and Orta out from Springfield.
But the only way we could get this fight done was through Jimmy Birchfield.
Yeah, Jimmy, such a legend.
Just a great guy, super easy to work with, and he wants other promoters to do well.
I mean, he didn't have to pick up the phone. Orta's under contract with him. He'd say, "Go fuck yourself. It's over." And by the way, I would have thanked him for it, right? Like I'm not in a position. It's not my boxer. And Jimmy was gracious enough to take the call, work with me on a number of different things, and he's the type of dude that I can call him, and he would help me through shit right now. So as far as local tough guys, local shoutouts, local spotlights. Nick Molina, Josh Orta is a fight that if you open BoxRec and you go through, Boston and Massachusetts, these fights don't really pop up, man. They're uncommon, and both these guys, pleasure to work with. Both particularly, they wanted what they wanted. I feel like they both got what they wanted from me. You
want to talk a little bit of the specifics of the fight?
I will say it's a 10-round main event fight.
Yep.
It looks like it's going to be a contested. Nick Molina, 14-1. He is from Lowell, so he probably will have a little bit of a hometown pop, even though he's not Boston based. And then Joshua Orta is Springfield based.
A lot of common opponents between them at the amateur level.
Tons, and like Molina again beat Higgins as a pro. Orta beat the Valentin kid as a pro. They both have fights against and wins against Troy Anderson as amateurs.
Troy is a stud.
Orta beat Polino, who's a murderer. I mean, he might be the best talent in New England right now, up and coming talent. Here's Joshua Orta, 11-0, out of Springfield, Mass. It's as exciting as a local fight as I've seen.
That's when we were putting these things together, because Matt, I do let him run point, as absolutely fucking dumb as he can be. He knows how to do a lot of things really well, but I said, like, put together something where I, as a fan, want to buy a ticket, not because I know the kid fighting. Put together a card where boxing fans in the area are going to get what they paid for, and that's a fucking fight.
And I think both guys think they're going to win.
I'll tell you right now, I don't know who's winning that fight.
I'll tell you right now, I'm not as confident as Ryan Garcia. I'm not betting on the fucking thing. That will not be on the Bet the Farm segment, but that will be on our local tough guy spotlight. Those two guys are a rare breed. Two dudes that are cut above the rest. Again, like, shout out to Ray Oliveira, local boxing legend, because he always puts on Facebook, why the fuck don't we get this guy versus this guy versus this guy? And again, I get sometimes there's weight issues, there's promotional issues, but a lot of times it's a matter of taking the step and be like, I don't want to risk, if you are a threat to me and I don't want it, know?
And Orta and Molina aren't
Molina
those guys,
fucking
man.
asked for this kid.
Yep.
And and that's wild. And Orta fucking said yes, and like no hesitation. Both camps, there was some logistics we need to work out, but there was never not once did anyone have a question about who they were fighting. They both wanted it.
Yeah.
So this is the exact type of fight that I was.
I'm excited to come back on the show and talk about how the fight went.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a banger. Dude.
Yeah. Maybe afterward, we can get one of them
to come down. Yeah, it'd be great.
It'd be cool. You know, so showcase some of the local talent, see what's next for them. You know, so that's definitely who I would like to focus on this week for local tough guys. Certainly. So in terms of action last night, now you did not watch these.
No, so I caught some highlights. Just before we get to the top three, I will say, like, when because you know we had the bare knuckle experience. We went down to Lakeland, Florida. Of those people listed,
yes,
Julian Lane went out of his way, didn't know us from fucking a hole in the wall, and was incredibly kind and personable the entire time.
Julian Lane is, for those that can't remember,
just let me bang, bro.
Let me bang, bro. He was an internet meme from The Ultimate Fighter. And he kept screaming over and over, "Let me bang, bro! Let me bang, bro!" That dude is built for bare knuckle.
Yep, he's a stand-up
monster. And also the one fucking dude that I was saying
out of his way to just be nice, tell us, like, you know, enjoy the experience. Like,
Chris Lieben was there.
Yep. Yes, he was.
Julian Lane, by the way, was an awesome guy. That was great to talk to. Kick-ass dude. He won last night. He showed out. But as far as the three main fights, kind of weird.
Ben Rothwell won.
So here's the thing with Ben Rothwell and Todd Duffy. So right off the bat, right?
Holy shit, he fought Todd Duffy.
Mark. You know what, Rob? We might have to fucking talk about some tainted meat.
So
Todd Duffy. This is an excellent segue.
So for those who don't know Todd Duffy, so Ben Rothwell, Todd Duffy, both former UFC fighters.
Both have really interesting stories, by the way.
So Todd Duffy. So I don't know if people remember. There was a time period, probably a good 3 years.
Yeah.
Where there was a therapeutic use exemption for TRT. That's the TRT Vitor days.
So TRT, by the way, is testosterone replacement therapy,
and so
testosterone replacement treatment.
So basically, how you could get around it, your testosterone fluctuates crazy throughout the day. These guys were getting tested 30, 40 times a day until it was testing low. Todd Duffy.
Additionally, by the way, if you abuse anabolic steroids,
of course,
your body produces less, you know.
Todd Duffy had a therapeutic exemption.
Rob, pull up a fucking picture of this kid.
When I say he literally looks like fucking a He-Man action figure from the 1980s. So, identical to the fucking Prince of Eternia.
Todd Duffy. This kid, for context, needed testosterone replacement therapy.
There's a picture of him. Do a Google image search. There's a picture of him with his arms raised, like on the scales.
Yes. Keep scrolling down. Yes. Go up.
On the Tapology?
Yes, that one there.
Oh.
This gentleman... This dude here required testosterone replacement. He did not produce enough testosterone.
He has those fucking.
He has a tricep
on your fucking abs.
He has a tricep on a tricep.
Yeah. So anyway, I didn't know he fought Todd Duffy. That's
so
wild.
Just for context, this is a nice little segue to our tainted meat section. Yes, Todd Duffy at one point needed to replace testosterone because clearly
legally. He was allowed to do it.
Yes.
That's the craziest fucking
Ben
part.
Rothwell's interesting.
He got popped.
Ben Rothwell gets popped first. What I was to say is Ben Rothwell is interesting in that he's openly autistic.
Yeah.
Ben Rothwell openly autistic, and he talks about it. He's kind of he champions it a little bit. And
Doomsday Howard.
Another one.
About
and I think it's kind of interesting that they're both so open about it, and have such success. And
Ben does that laugh after, which I fucking love.
So the Ben Rothwell Todd Duffy thing, right?
Okay.
You are already like Todd Duffy. So Todd Duffy looks like the Hulk.
Yep.
He does not necessarily have the heart of a lion.
Okay.
So he that was stopped 43 seconds in for a stinger. So he complained like he had like a stinger, like a shoulder stinger. Which I think he actually hurt his labia.
Oh yeah, part of his vagina.
Yeah, because he seems like a huge pussy.
There it is.
So Ben Rothwell is a huge person. He's not jacked like homeboy there. He's a mountain of a man. Like his fucking. If you found,
he looks like hairy mashed potatoes.
He does. He looks like the Beirut ball or beer pong ball
that would fucking roll on the floor
and just
when you have a dog.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, but if you found his skull,
like
20 years from now.
You're like, holy shit! There was
giants among us. So I think what happened was Todd Duffy got in there, was like, my shoulder. And we really was like, Ben Roth was like, raw, like fucking eating rocks behind
Terrell
him, right?
Lorenzo Hunt, was that the torn bicep?
That was No, that was Julian Lane. Julian Lane's opponent tore his bicep.
Okay, because I saw that.
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
all right.
There was a lot of weird injuries. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So, here's Rothwell Duffy.
Duffy looking a little different there. Got
Yeah.
neck beard.
He falls down and then just ready. Just thinking about it. It's kind of like a slip, and then he's like,
I think that left hand landed. No,
he's like, I feel cool. Everything's good. You know.
Rothwell looked like he just looks shaved up.
Yeah. Rothwell's showing off the physique. Todd Duffy throws himself on the ground and then complains and grabs a shoulder that had nothing to do with it. And even Ben Rothwell's looking at him like, come on, bitch. You know. So yeah, that's a payday. You know.
Yep,
It'd
my
be one
shoulder.
thing,
Yep.
you know, if you have like a broken collarbone and shit, you know, but that was you got the yips. It's fine. Listen, dude, guess who's not fucking fighting Ben fucking Rothwell?
Yeah,
It's
hey,
me,
hey,
dude.
Todd, if you ever come on the broadcast, Matt was the one talking all that shit.
That's right.
Fucking-
No, I'm just
fucking
kidding, dude. I was gonna call him a
reckless.
bitch, but I actually don't want to get my ass kicked by Todd
we're
Duffy.
we have a lot of respect for you, Todd. I don't the whole you needing testosterone. Don't know how that
That's
happened.
a soft move, Todd.
That's crazy.
But no, he clearly wasn't hurt. But the Lorenzo Hunt, let's see. Yeah, literally nothing happened.
He's seeing his right shoulder.
Well, he like grabbed like the back of his head at first. He was like literally was like, how can I?
It's like Beavis and Butthead, my liver.
Yeah, exactly.
trying
Yeah,
to find-
he like as he hits the ground, he's like, what can hurt? What can hurt so I can get the hell away from this fucking mountain man?
Pulled a rotator cuff on the way down.
Yeah,
Neck hurt.
I
That
don't
can
know.
happen, right?
I don't know. Doesn't pass the smell test. I don't know. It's not good. Toe-to-toe fight show gives it a big fucking 2 thumbs down, you know? But Lorenzo Hunt, very legitimate injury. Did you see that shit?
No, because
All
I'm,
right,
I'm
so-
a Hunt fan when it comes to like BKFC.
So,
I
Lorenzo Hunt's like
him.
the dude.
Yeah.
So he is 12 fights in BKFC. The only dude he lost to was that dude, the Cuban assassin.
Yep.
Early in his career, gets caught. He is fucking everybody up. What he does, he moves up. So Mick Terrell's a true heavyweight.
Okay.
Terrell has the belt right
Yep.
now. So he moves up. And by the way, he looks the part. Terrell is piecing him up, but it's competitive. Terrell lands an uppercut. Fucking Lorenzo Hunt post on his left arm.
He fucking break his arm.
Dislocated his left elbow. Lorenzo Hunt did not look for a way out. He completely, like 100% dislocated his elbow. So it was one of those things where, to me, it did seem a bit academic, but you can't say that because Lorenzo Hunt's last fight with Mike Richmond folded him.
Yeah.
Hunt gets up dead,
And then
catches him and
slept him.
sleeps him out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
I like Richmond too.
Richmond's a
Yeah,
stud,
yeah.
and Richmond's look good.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't say for certain that fight was matter of fact. I will say Mick Terrell, generally speaking, is a great boxer, great bare knuckle fighter, both here in America and in England. He's performed well. A true, genuine heavyweight. Hunt is a massive human being, but when you compare him to guys like the Rothwells, the Terrells,
He's not that.
the
He's
Godbears,
not built.
like their skeletal
Yeah,
structures
yeah,
are
yeah.
bigger. Like a Terrell looks more like, you know, a pro rugby player.
Yeah.
Whereas like,
Can we talk about the face of BKFC just fucking stacking wins?
dude, has anyone been more built for BKFC than Mike fucking Perry?
I like, and he's crushing name after name. Alves is as legit as they come. Rockhold.
Oh yeah, Rockhold. He broke his face.
Fucking broke his face.
How about Michael Venom Page makes a huge splash in the UFC by beating Kevin Holland.
Embarrassing Holland.
Embarrassed him. And by the way, did you forget that Platinum Mike Perry just beat his ass?
Dropped him.
Yeah. Mike Perry is fucking just absolutely ripping through BKFC. He has the personality for it. He has the fucking face tattoos for it. He is fire on the mic. They were like, I saw a fan interaction with him, and it was like one of the presser, and they're like, hey, you know, you're like the king of violence or some shit. They're like, what? Like, we just saw last week, you know, with the BMF belt with Holloway and Gaethje, they like pointed at the middle and like agreed to fight. Like, can we see that from you? And Mike Perry was like, that's been my fucking game plan
Literally
all
every-
along.
every
Like,
fucking-
have you seen me
Yeah,
fight?
what are you
like,
talking
I
about?
knock old dudes out at bars because I'm like, that's what I do. So, and then TRL was like, yeah, we're going to do it. He's like, shut up, bitch. You're going to run away. You know, and Mike Perry immediately fucking stops him in the first round. Again, he cannot lose. And the big breaking news, obviously Connor becomes partial owner. So
what do you think that looks like now? So
So-
it's like does it blow up, or does Conor just kind of
think status quo.
partner just kind of
silent partner.
Yeah.
So what it's going to be is Connor's going to throw money at it because he has the money to throw at it, and he's going to cut douchey promos like he did last night.
Yeah.
He's like, and he does this with his fist, says some nonsense. His face is all bloated from fucking coke, and
allegedly,
he's
allegedly,
the cocaine use. I was saying.
Allegedly.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. He's like, the Connor shit's over with, right? We fucking don't. Oh, he's coming back to fight Chandler at 100,000 pounds.
A made up pound.
Holy shit. No, I'm good there. But so if you BKFC, the three fights at the end there. I mean, BKFC is a decent little product. They said people were a little disappointed with how the fights played out, but like you can't. I mean, bicep tear, whatever. Todd Duffy faked, and then the dislocated arm was completely. I mean, it's wildly legitimate. I mean, it was horrific. And Hunt will be back. Usually with something like a dislocated elbow, the recovery hopefully is all right. Bicep tears can be like a year of fight ending, so it should be interesting. But BKFC's got some interest. Oh, they're coming to Mohegan Sun for the first time ever. So I think it's May 11th.
Chad Mendez. Did Perry who beat Mendez?
It wasn't Perry.
Oh no, it was.
Did Perry beat Alves?
No, who's the one that Connor?
Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, Alvarez.
Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
Eddie Alvarez. Yeah, he kicks everyone's ass. He beats everybody. But so for Mohegan Sun, a shitload of local guys. Zach Kalmus, like my favorite dude. Zach Kalmus just born to fight. Dude fights boxing, bare knuckle. I talked to him on the phone, and at some point, hopefully we can get him on this. I gotta fucking ask him about this. But he fights professional hockey fights.
Which is dudes in jerseys and skates, and they just fucking kill each other.
That's what the fuck he told me. So I don't know anything about it beyond that. Zach Kalmus missing some teeth and has the heart of gold and just kills dudes. He's the best. So he's on the card. Genghis Khan is on the card against Scotty Bombs Lambert. There's a couple other locals on the card. It's a pretty interesting card. It was supposed to have Heather Hardy and Ferreira there.
I'm curious how the commission. Different athletic commissions do different things.
Here. Oh yeah, this card. It's got Jimmy Rivera and Daniel Strauss. So I mean, that's the new main event, which is just an awesome fight.
Bellator standout, right, Strauss?
Yes. And there was one. Oh, and then the kid Perez with the red hair. That's the one-eyed wolf. He fights out of Worcester.
Oh, he does slap fighting too.
He does the power slap shit.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a good amateur. He's like a fucking animal. Real good. He's got a couple pro boxing matches as well. I was talking about the athletics. So this will be the first one at Mohegan. When we went down to Florida, so obviously every state you fight in, every athletic commission you have to get licensed in. We get licensed and we're signing license paperwork and it's MMA. And I'm like, why am I signing for the MMA license work if we're doing pro boxing? And they're like, well, here's the deal. Boxing doesn't sanction it in Florida. So the Florida State Athletic Commission does not sanction bare knuckle. MMA does. So it's actually modified MMA rules. And we're like, all right, okay, what is it? And they're like, well, you got to wear gloves. I'm like, well, time out. Here's the deal. But kind of, it's in the name. I was under the impression bare knuckle would have
you're not
bare
going to wear.
knuckles.
So they're like, no, we have 4-ounce neoprene gloves because it's MMA. They have 4-ounce gloves that stop here. So now we're backstage.
Stop just before the knuckles.
Yeah, stop just before the knuckles. So they stop right before the knuckles. Sorry, yeah. And we're backstage, and you put these neoprene things on, and I have to wrap over it, but keep the knuckles exposed.
Yeah.
And Dat Win is losing his mind backstage. He's like, why are we doing this? I can't make a fist now. And there's with all this neoprene, I'm like, all it does is cater to handbrakes.
And we've also fought at Mohegan Sun at the professional amateur level, and I feel like their commission is insanely strict.
They're very more strict than what I would. Yeah, they're
more strict than Lakeland, Florida.
They're very particular. So it'll be interesting to see what sanctioning body it's under. I'd love to talk to Zach about that.
The tribe.
No. What I'm saying is, it going to be
MMA or boxing?
MMA or boxing? Are they going to force them to have these goofy half glove things?
Yeah, it is interesting. But I'm a big fan of bare knuckle fighting. I do like it.
It's entertaining.
It's a different form.
Yeah,
it's like the same thing. I like football.
Yeah, I don't want to So Dana has the contenders. He's 6,000 different MMA fights. I could watch a lot of MMA. I could watch a lot of boxing. I love watching a single.
You don't need 50 bare knuckle organizations.
A BKFC.
But if a Boston-based
once
one
a month
ever came out,
all
cool.
in, baby. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Mark.
Probably an unpopular take here.
Yes,
I have the same trouble that I had watching bare knuckle fighting as I do watching hockey. I have trouble seeing the puck fly around in hockey without the big fucking gloves over your hands.
Yes.
I have trouble seeing what the hands are doing.
Yes.
And when they're connected.
That's fair. Yeah, especially the clinch work is tough.
Yeah. I'd love to hear it better if I could on the broadcast.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear, fist smacking faces.
Totally.
I want to hear the feet on the ground.
What's interesting too, what you bring up too with the visualization, the rules in the UK differ than the rules from America, and the UK rules are more akin to what you're looking for. So with the UK rules, it's bare knuckle boxing.
So it's boxing rules. So it's almost Marcus of Queensberry rules.
Yes.
Without gloves.
Whereas American rules bare knuckle fighting. So the difference being in bare knuckle fighting championship, you're allowed to clinch with one hand.
So like you can have like a hockey kind of plum, so you can like grab the back.
But
of
if
the
you're
head.
active the whole time, there's no break. Whereas in British rules, if you clinch, it's the same thing as boxing. They immediately breaks. You have to fight at range, or at least like you can't tie up like a hockey fight would. So because of that, it I think visually. British boxing, bare knuckle boxing is definitely cleaner and easier to follow and enjoyable from like a pugilistic standpoint. From like a horrific bloodlust murder porn standpoint, American bare knuckles where it's
well,
at.
the ring is fucking weird too. So the ropes are not; they are solid ropes. They're not flexible. So in your corner,
meaning they're literally made out of steel.
Yeah, in your corner, one of the ropes is on a hinge. So you can like bend it, like it literally hinges down so you can get in the ring, but they're static ropes. They don't.
Yeah, so they're like.
Otherwise, you can't make a circle, obviously, out of loose ropes.
Wait, you can't?
Shut up.
So, but they're like, you have to enter specifically through this set of ropes because this one opens and hinges. Yeah, pretty wild. Yeah. Wild stuff.
Explain to me why hair pulling is allowed.
Hair pulling should not be allowed.
Well, I saw a lot of it last night.
Yeah, so I also will say this. How do I say this?
Holding the back of the head and punching with the other
hair
hand.
pulling is 100% not allowed by letter of the law. But listen, here's another thing that's fucking weird, dude, is that, listen, hair pulling is not legal, but different rules for different section of body. So, like, one time they fought in New York, and you'll have to look it up, and at some point I could dig it up, but they fought at a place.
Was it a reservation, I presume? Or
it was a reservation that was the entire city or town.
Is exclusively a landlocked reservation.
So they were, like, completely set up their own laws.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking
like
about
a sovereign
state, basically, in the sense that, like, we're not talking about set up their own rules for fighting, dude. They set up their own fucking laws, dude. So, like, if they're like, dude, you can rip their eyeballs out, like, you can probably rip your fucking eyeballs out. So,
and you'll see some, like, in I know, like, in MMA, you'll see some variations of rule. Like, in Canada, you can't foot stomp.
Sure.
Couple weird odds and ends.
Yeah. So there might be.
I would love it if they're just like, you could fucking pull their hair, dude.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Because I know if you look at like
just shaving their head in the back room.
If you look at the evolution of bare knuckle boxing or bare knuckle fighting, like since its reincarnate, it started out in places like Wyoming, Louisiana, places that. How do I say it?
They can be lax with rules.
Thank you. That is a great way to say it, my guy.
So
hair pulling should not be allowed. I do not doubt for a second that Houston Alexander fought for bare knuckle, dude. You remember that? He knocked the guy out and just fucking coffin nailed him, and just kills him on the ground.
And they still counted.
And they were just like, "We're cool."
Yeah,
that's a win.
I'm not telling Houston Alexander got disqualified.
He's a monster. Yeah. I'm good friends with Houston Alexander's manager too, so maybe I can get him in there and just have him just punch someone to death on the ground for us and be like, toe to toe fight show. That's our new theme song. And Houston Alexander for the cut. I don't want to ruin episode 2, but it's gonna go toe to toe fight show, and then Houston Alexander just kills a guy. That's the. What do you think?
Print it.
We'll run it by the sponsors.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Toe to toe fight show. Houston Alexander kills a guy.
I like it. Too.
I think that's.
We're gonna
I
throw
feel
in
like
the
it's
maybe
catchy.
pile at least.
I feel like that's how. That screams longevity to me, right?
Really screams Team America World Police.
Can I tell you the whole time, the whole drive over here in my head, I'm going toe to toe, fight show, coming to save the motherfucking day, yeah, toe to toe. The whole time.
Parody law, I think we're good.
And can I also tell you, in my head, I'm going parody law, I think we're good. Toe to toe, fight show. That's so yeah. If that sticks, that probably won't stick.
Probably won't.
No, our producer's in the room, so I don't.
You're in
think
the blue corner next time, baby.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You know,
shit happened.
I didn't laugh at the WNBA, dickhead.
Hey, we're excited, dude. We're gonna do a lot of this shit. We'll get a lot more like nice guys and awesome people like George on the show.
George is so nice.
But like, yeah, we'll get some animals on the show too.
Yeah. we expect a lot of future fireworks.
Yeah, I want to see a bunch of different looks.
Yeah, so we'll get some. We'll keep talking local fights, global fights. Hopefully, Ryan Garcia continues knocking people out, but also a terrible mental downward spiral.
And if not, like if say it was an act, say it was a sketch, his dad's got to have social media. Like that's not a fucking.
Someone hand him a fucking cell phone.
That's not.
You know?
That's not an act.
Yeah.
What was more entertaining, Garcia or Bill Haney?
So Bill Haney, the thing with Bill Haney, I was thinking, Garcia's dad is infinitely more entertaining than Bill Haney, but Bill Haney at least makes his kid worth watching. So like I like Haney. I like Devin Haney because I like pure boxing, right? You know, if you like pure boxing, fucking
10 of them.
4 fucking people.
Yeah.
So then, thank God, Haney's dad is also a lunatic and was like, "I wanted to kill Ryan Garcia in the ring." What are you saying, you fucking dickhead? So, and then we just lost a boxer this week from
A 27-year-old from Nigeria.
yeah, from Nigeria, which is terrible. So it's like, you know, to say shit like that, it's a viral moment. It gets people
Yeah, in
talking
baseball,
about it.
if you're like, I'm gonna fucking kill him, cool. You're not gonna fucking kill anybody in
Yeah,
baseball.
exactly.
Shit happens.
You
though, in
know,
boxing.
so Haney's dad, they both strike me. I think they're both similar in that their dads aren't guys that I would ever want to talk to for more than 30 seconds. I would follow them around with a video camera. I would do that. But both guys strike me as big pieces of shit. You know, scumbags that whore out their kids, grab their crotch and punch Eddie Hearn in the chest. You wanna watch? Let's see this.
Did you guys see this? I'm not gonna play it because it's like it's an hour long.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I can only
There's
imagine.
a whole lot of it, but man, they went at each other. And
Yeah, to the meeting of the minds. You know, they just have Bill Haney and Floyd Mayweather. It's a spelling bee. These guys, real two cerebral ass cats. You get the joke, right? Because they can't.
I got you.
Because Floyd Mayweather can't
I
read and
gleaned
shit.
that, yeah.
So I don't believe that he told him 3 pounds. Bill Haney sucks. He's a real dick. Floyd Mayweather's kind of funny behind the mic. Very good boxer.
Yep.
Great work ethic. Fuck Bill Haney. And I think that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Hot take.
I was impressed with how kind of cool. Well, let me put it this way.
Yeah,
Here it comes.
Yeah,
No.
I like where this is going.
No take backs.
When Floyd Mayweather is the adult in the room,
Yes!
that's saying something.
When
And it was
Floyd
amazing.
Mayweather
The
has
voice
to-
of reason.
is the voice of reason, the calming of the
The
storm.
guy has a white car garage that's only white cars and a black car garage.
Correct.
And he's just foreclosing on everything because he doesn't pay his monthly payments, even though he's a fucking
Gazillionaire.
gazillionaire.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's the voice of reason.
And
in
he
the
has
room.
to settle everyone down like, guys, look, let's be reasonable
Yeah.
here. Let's be reasonable here. Yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to. Toe-to-toe fight show. Mark and Matt Nolan Bros Boxing. We're coming to you from the Seaport in Boston. And hopefully we get some fire guests coming in. I know we will. We have our fingers on the pulse of boxing and fighting in general.
Yeah, we got a couple guys locked and loaded that I think will be like
Sneaky
just
aces up our
grossly
sleeves.
entertaining.
Yeah, and if we're, if they're not, good news. Fucking we are, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So